today, March 5th. We will have a call to order. Do we have any absences, Ms. Simics? Okay, we did have a call in. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. We have a excused absent call in for Miss Judy. Do you have a motion to excuse?
I move to excuse.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and Miss Claudia Walker informed me that she will be here this evening. She is just late, and I told her to please take her time and arrive safely. Okay. Moving on to invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Heavenly Father, we are grateful that we have the ability to gather here on this day, Super Tuesday, where we get to, as a country, let our voices be heard. Thank you for keeping us in a free society where we can work together for the betterment of our brothers and sisters. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we move on to citizens to be heard. Do we have any citizens to be heard? As we have none, we will move on to the consent agenda for the February 2nd, 2024 minutes. Give everybody just a moment to take a look at those.
I move to approve the February 22nd minutes as provided.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Moving on to the discussion action items. A, discussion action regarding the recommendation for approval of the vision statement in the comprehensive plan and IH-10 corridor plan. I'm sorry.
So
That's okay.
the vision statement and everything else that we will be going over were some consensus items that you all had general consensus on. We just want to try to get you all to make an official recommendation on some of these items if you all feel comfortable doing so. So specifically with the vision statement, this is intended to be a discussion and action item for the MPAC in regards to the approval of the vision statement within the Cibolo Tomorrow Comp Plan, as well as the I-10 corridor plan. So I don't think we have made it known, but the same vision statement that you all had came up with will also be used not only in the comp plan, but also in the I-10 corridor plan. Because we want consistency in terms of the vision statement, the guiding principles, place types, so on and so forth. So as you all know, this has been a couple of meetings in the making, and this vision statement has came before you all, and we have tailored it accordingly, which reads, Cibolo is a community where residents collaborate to shape their civic future by promoting its rich history, preserving a small town feel, and investing in balanced development. If you all feel comfortable doing so with making a recommendation tonight, this vision statement will go forward to or at least the P&Z and City Council for a public hearing. So we're going to present this, if you all feel comfortable doing so, making a recommendation tonight to P&Z and City Council to show that we're making progress in terms of trying to get these plans adopted. So again, if you feel comfortable and if it's acceptable to the MPAC, We do have a sample motion in your packets for this one specifically.
Before we go on with this, you're saying this is going to be for the I-10 corridor plan as well?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Which the EDC has responsibility for, is that correct? Has the EDC made a statement about approving or agreeing or disagreeing with this statement? Has it been presented to the EDC?
Aside from the joint meeting, not separately.
I can address that a little bit. Oh, maybe this will come on. Can you hear me? Okay, there you go. Perfect. Yes, so the EDC, similar to how you have your Master Plan Advisory Committee, the EDC has also done an advisory committee to review the IH-10 corridor plan. So they have been participating in biweekly meetings with the consultant. And so this is one of the items that has been presented for them. They have not taken formal action because it would come from the Master Plan Advisory first and then go to the EDC. Because it is part of a comp plan. So we're doing it under the umbrella of our comp plan. But that advisory committee members are familiar with the progress that's been made toward this.
I'm not comfortable with making a decision without EDC input. I need the EDC to tell me.
It does say that it'll proceed to the EDC, and that's the first listed. I don't know if it's the first meeting. I doubt it since P&Z's in next week. But I would be comfortable, I agree with you. I would be comfortable with stating that approve the vision statement for the comprehensive plan and move it on as recommended to the EDC for the IH-10 corridor. I agree. I wouldn't feel comfortable making that decision for them on their plan.
Well, we have two EDC individuals.
So yeah, as president of the EDC, I'm okay with that plan. You can obviously approve it, subject to the EDC's final approval and
Okay.
review of it.
Okay,
Because you're right, EDC is the
yeah.
the owner of this I-10 corridor. We are the funder, the benefactor, obviously in conjunction with the city. So
Yeah, I would not want to do that outside of their purview.
sure. I mean, again, at the end of the day, just like anywhere else, like the EDC can make motions and approval that are subject to the city council. Same concept, right? So anything here we say is going to be recommendations regardless.
Yeah,
And ultimately, it's going to go back to the governing body, and then ultimately, it's going to go to the city council as well. So
yeah, but still our behavior should be respectful.
I agreed, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
Okay.
why Corey and I are here.
So that being
Or not
said,
Corey. Shit, dude.
so that being said, we have consensus that the EDC is aware that this is going to be moved forward to them, and that they have. And that they are aware that we might be passing this plan for their consideration and respect as well. So, I'm sorry, can you complete the conversation about the intended motion?
Yeah, so you have a sample motion in front of you. As you all mentioned, if you do not feel comfortable in terms of this being, or at least saying in some form that subject to EDC approval or recommendation, you can put that in your motion as well. But we do have a sample motion in your packets.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the vision statement in the comprehensive plan and the IH-10 corridor plan in conjunction with the EDC.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Moving on. Thank you so much.
You gotta keep it light.
All right. Our next discussion and action item is 7B in regards to guiding principles. So this item is intended to be a discussion and action item similar to the vision statement for the MPAC, specifically for the guiding principles. You all know this has been a culmination of meetings. We've brought this before you all, and in its final form, we have 5 guiding principles. The first is prioritize infrastructure to support existing needs and future growth. The second is plan for and promote the health, safety, security, and general welfare of all residents. The third is balance growth through responsible planning of city assets and planning to promote a community environment. The fourth is provide parks, recreation, trails, and open space to serve citizens and visitors while protecting the natural environment and wildlife. And the fifth is preserve the history of Cibolo and promote the friendly small town feel through community programs and events. So similarly to the last item, if you all feel comfortable doing so, we will present these guiding principles to the following boards in terms of EDC, PNZ, and City Council for their recommendation and approval in both the comp plan and the IH10 plan. So again, we have a sample motion in your packets.
Okay, I would like to open up the table for any discussion. Mr. Shoup.
Well, I guess my question comes in is, what if these boards don't approve it? What if these boards don't approve these guiding principles? What if these boards don't, I mean, how long are we going to be going back and forth? Or is this going to be the master plan and they're going to change what they do?
So the final determination, these are all recommending bodies. So similar how you're recommending for approval, these guiding principles, the FLUME, the MTP, and all of those items that are going to go forward to then the EDC and the P&Z. Those bodies will then have the ability to make a recommendation. If they choose to not make a recommendation, it will still proceed to the City Council because they are the ultimate body. If council then doesn't feel comfortable with approving it, then yes, we might be meeting again to try again. But as far as its next steps are just two additional recommending bodies. So it doesn't kill it if at any point someone doesn't want to make a recommendation.
Just for accounting purposes, please let the record show that Malcolm McLaughlin is in presence at 6:42. Thank you. Any discussion on these 5 guiding principles?
I'll make a motion. I move to approve the guiding principles and the comprehensive plan and the IH corridor plan with the EDC's approval, following the EDC's approval.
I'll second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right, moving on to discussion and action item 7C. So this is a discussion and action item regarding the place types that you all had went over and revised and for the comp plan. So if you all recall, we started out with the future land uses. There's 9 of those currently in our FLUME. Now we have 11 of those place types instead of those future land uses, those being rural residential and agricultural, estate residential, community residential, compact residential, neighborhood commercial, regional activity center, mixed-use centers, old town, light industrial / business park, heavy industrial, and parks and open space. So if you all feel comfortable doing so, you all can make a recommendation on these place types, and these will proceed to EDC, PNZ, and Council for their review and consideration.
So I'd like to open up discussion on this item. Does anybody have anything that they would like to add to this?
Not at this time, no.
I would like to add that I do not agree with putting mixed-use centers back into what would have been considered the old PUD, correct?
So mixed-use centers, they would be a bit different from the PUD in the sense that they would Unlike the PUDs, which aren't necessarily a future land use, mixed-use centers would be a place type that would be accounted for in the flume. Currently, in the flume, we actually don't have any mixed-use centers called out, nor do we have heavy industrial. So in this case, at least giving that as an option to any future applicants, we can definitely reconsider that whenever that is proposed in terms of the applicant needing to do a future land use map amendment. That would be at the cost of the applicant, and that would need to be reviewed and approved by P&Z and council. So that is something that adds as an additional safety net in terms of mixed-use centers, but it does act a little different from a PUD, because at least in that sense, it's a lot more public. Unlike a PUD, you might be able to, in terms of certain agreements that are between the city and that applicant that might not be well known or as publicized as something like a future land use map amendment. So it is a bit different from a PUD. But there are some similarities in
Yeah,
terms
I
of
think
that.
it's muddy water. I do not like it. I think it is confusing to citizens and to property owners, what they can and cannot use their land for, and I am against it. I think it should be done straight zoning. So I just would like to add that in there. Any further discussion?
No.
Okay.
I mean, just for the record, we've already talked about the mixed-use centers and the regional activity centers, and I believe as a body of the impact, we did vote on putting that place type and defining it. And I think regardless, and I understand your concern and your reservations, but also too, on the other end of that spectrum, I think if the city defines it, we know it, we own that process. If we decide to use it, then we can. If we don't want to use it, then at least we have that term defined and we can strike it from any flume or any other planning and zoning if somebody comes and chooses. At least it's defined. That's my biggest thing. I know you said that it might confuse the residents. I think on the other end, I think it might be beneficial that we actually codify what that actually means in our documents so everybody understands the definition.
Good luck with that. That would be
Sure.
my statement about that. My statement would be there is no historical data to support that those things would occur. And so until
Okay.
there is historical data that those things occur, I will warn against it.
Sure.
But, I mean, it would be great if we could have clear communication. It would be great if we could have clarity is kindness, if we could have some clarity and kindness. I do not see that happening.
Sure. I'm just saying we should define it.
And also, it can always go up to council, and council can shut it down right there.
Well, I think that when we, as a body, do something and say, well, we'll rely on council to shut it down, they're kind of relying on us to say, penalty on the play. We don't have a history of this, and we struggle with it. Ms. Walker, Dr. Walker?
However, we did vote in those council members so that they will have our best interests. And that is what I'm relying on, is that the council that we voted for will have our best interests.
Okay, that is a great and wonderful thing, and I hope it happens. But it has been my experience that is not always the case. So clarity, I think so we can move on to, does anybody have a motion to make?
I move to approve the vision statement in the comprehensive plan and the IH corridor plan pending the EDC approval.
Could you actually revise that to say place types? I think that was a typo in our packet for this sample motion.
My apologies. I move to approve the place types in the comprehensive plan and the IH corridor plan pending approval from the EDC.
It's broken.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, moving on.
Yes, ma'am. On to the next agenda item, which is 7D. And this is on page 19 of your packets. So this is a discussion and action item regarding the future land use map for the comp plan and the IX10 corridor plan. As we had some discussion at our last meeting, we had a consensus on the flume. What we'll do is for this, before you all make your motion, we can show you all what that draft flume looks like so you all feel comfortable. And obviously, if there's any revisions that need to be made, you can let us know and we can get those revisions incorporated. Again, before you all make a motion and before we look at that, with this agenda item, if you all feel comfortable doing so with making a recommendation, it will go forward to EDC P&Z for their review and consideration. So we'll go ahead and get that map pulled up for you all guys. Just give us a few seconds here.
Thank you.
I don't think the flume would be subject to the EDC approval. I think this would be mainly P and Z and, yeah, and P and Z and city council.
I think we would want EDC's input on what they perceive as their targeted
Sure.
commercial.
Well, is this going to be incorporated in the I-10 corridor study? Oh,
I think the future land use of commercial
Okay,
property
that's fine.
is under the purview.
I guess we'll stay consistent. We've been subject to everything, to everybody else's approval.
Well, and I mean, I think that's appropriate.
I got you. I understand. I just want to make sure on the revised flume that those 3 areas that we talked about last time, right? We just want to make sure those are identified correctly.
You talking about the additional areas?
No, the 3 areas where there was, well, I wouldn't say vacant, but there was a lot of discrepancy between the 4 groups, remember? And then they wanted us to identify, which it was this one up on 1103. And I think. We don't have to split. But I thought down here there was some commercial that we identified in here.
At our last meeting?
Yes. Yes. Here was the area, and then what was the third area? It was here, which that's correct. It was here, and where was that third area? Was it around? Where's the second area then? Okay. That's right. It was that triangle. Right off of 78. Okay. Yes, that's correct. Which, yep, that's correct. Yep.
So this isn't even up to date off of what we did last meeting.
I want to say area 3 and area 2 doesn't look like it.
You know,
I'm just going 1, 2, 3.
He's making his own number.
Dude, I'm just making my rules up, man. This dude's Corey. He's Corey. I'm doing the area.
It's like it's A, B, and C, okay?
Could you give me the defining roads for area 2, please, sir?
Roman numeral
We have the maps from the last meeting we can pull up so you can see the areas real quick.
Because it does look like the golf course area is done for community residential, and I thought we said that was a state residential, this area,
This area right here?
right? Didn't we say estate?
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, not community, but estate.
We do not have that captured. It wasn't written at the last meeting. This is the one that was worked on by the team, but we can
Yes.
adjust it now.
Let's go over this.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're, okay, so it's here.
Triangle here and
That's,
yes.
that's right.
Okay.
The circle and the
Oh, there's 4 technically.
There's 4.
There's that one up by on the left.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're, okay. That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Good thing somebody didn't trash it.
Am I lost? No.
All right.
So that's.
Yeah, so our first area was off of FM 1103.
It's this one right here. Yeah, that's the
And
community
this is where we had made the recommendation of Regional Activity Center. Okay,
And it's showing on the map here.
gotcha. Okay, and so area number 2 was here off of FM 78. and a little off of Fond Steel here, where we have light industrial off of FM 78, and near this area that's in the floodplain outside the city limits, we have this as rural residential, or rural residential and agricultural, and same for this area that is off of Fond Steel. That third area was off of Lower Seguin Road and Schmeckel, correct? I believe we started discussions, what is this road? Santa Clara. We started talking about continuing a little bit of that neighborhood commercial onto Schmeckel Road off of Santa Clara, since we see that being a future connector. And then as we start going further east or west on Schmeckel, was whenever we started talking about going into the community residential. And then north of Schmeckel, we had estate residential.
Okay.
Okay.
I would like,
Yeah.
I would like to point out something. Now that you see this map, and you can see up there by block number 1, up at the top. You see. Yeah. Hey, it was a good idea.
I got him
It was
doing
a
it
good
too.
idea.
He said area 1 too.
Good segue.
Yeah.
I want you to take a look at the yellow and red squares across the street from it. And I want you to think about what that will look like at the entrance of the city of Cibolo. So, and compared to what we have along the I-35 frontage, and it is that, exactly what you are hoping to see as we enter into the community of Cibolo. I mean, it is a very large, glaring red amount of one of these things does not like the other.
I'm just we had a lengthy conversation about this one. And I think we were all in agreement that we liked the idea of most of us were in agreement that we liked the idea.
Thank you for that clarity.
Yeah, we like the idea of a regional activity center there with the hopes that we could get a developer in there that could add, some welcome to Cibolos and a real beautification plan there in that red square. I know across there's housing there and there's a little bit of pink. So there's some community, neighborhood commercial. So, but it's pretty sparse across the way. But I think that if I'm remembering correctly from our meeting, we had a very lengthy conversation and most of us were in agreement for the regional activity center.
That's on the corner of 11th Street and Old Weirstein?
Yes.
Isn't that a storage unit?
The storage unit is actually outside, I think outside the city limits, or it's the little bit of yellow or whatever. It's kind of cut out.
So those people there in the corner are selling?
No, this is future land use. If they sold, this is what we can see maybe happening there in the distant future. Nobody's pushing anybody out.
Now, again, according to the definitions, that doesn't preclude somebody if they want to develop housing there either, right? So I would have to go back to the definition, which is important. But again, one thing I just wanted to bring up as far as the EDC goes, in our perspective, is the area off of I-35 next to Santikos. Clearly, that's being developed, and that's going to be a hotbed, if you will, for commercial development. This acres here, how many acres was that again? Do you guys remember? I know it was more than the form. Yes.
At 50?
I believe, was it 50?
It was
I
like
think it was like 50.
40-something. It's
Yeah,
close to 50.
that sounds about right.
50, 60 acres. Right here.
Yeah,
right
the
here
whole
off of
the whole
1103.
property that we
180 acres.
180?
Yeah.
Oh, that's way more than I remember, but still. It doesn't all have to develop as a recreational activity center too. Half of it could be bought and like you were saying, they could come to the PNC and they could ask for rezoning and then they go to council and if it gets approved, it changes to whatever they develop it as if it gets approved. But I mean, I think it's a good selling point for EDC and to get developers to maybe come into this area. We've got this area identified. If somebody there wants to sell,
This is, I mean, we were going through the EDC comprehensive master plan, right?
Yes.
And this was, these two spots in the top nearest 35 are going to be the biggest things for us as far as the EDC goes.
They were opportunity sites, I believe. Yeah. So
Are they allowed to put apartments in that?
It's not community center. It's regional activity.
Are they allowed to put apartment
It just
complexes?
means pretty much.
I don't think Regional Activity Center has apartment complexes.
That's correct. That's correct.
No, it says community and regional serving retail and commercial. Secondary uses include civic and institutional, medical, small-scale retail, hotel, parks, and open space and office.
Okay.
It does restrict it that you can't put apartments there, if that was your concern.
Yeah, no, of course, we don't want
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
we do not want apartments. We definitely do not want apartments there. That is correct.
Yeah.
And I agree
At the
with you
entrance?
wholeheartedly,
Yeah,
100%.
no,
Okay.
I mean, as far as apartments and high-density living, that should be shifted down, I would say south on the I-10 corridor by all that industrial down there. So again, I agree,
Okay.
okay?
Just making sure
So, yeah,
that we
of
have
course. Yeah,
complete
absolutely.
clarity and discussion to pass on to
Yes.
the council.
Yes. And the beauty of it, that's why we define these terms, right? As best to our abilities we can, right? I mean, there's a lot of implications with the words that we use. But nevertheless, I think red doesn't really give it service, right? Red looks warning, in my opinion. However, yeah. No, it's okay. Red is fine, but we just want to make sure, though, that is an opportunity. Our consultant did say in our last meeting that the area by Santikos, which clearly is being developed right now, and any other opportunity on the north part of the city of Cibolo would be that area. And also, too, it's, really close proximity to 35, where we can potentially get revenue from, sales for somebody to come in and then leave the city of Cibolo, just like the I-10 opportunities, without creating additional strain on our infrastructure, roads, traffic. I mean, again, that's about a mile off of I-35, as much as possible, unless they want to go downtown and go buy some ice cream or something.
And just to go back to the amount of acres in this area, we just looked it up. It's about 60. 60, yes.
About that whole square, including the yellow, I was adding that whole area,
No.
60 for the red.
And then just as a reference point, the form you said was 150 acres? 117 acres?
17.
No, the form was way more than that.
No way.
Didn't y'all say the form was only
No,
17?
that's Walmart. That's Walmart.
Oh,
That's Walmart.
okay. I
Or
remember
H-E-B.
that. I remember that number sticking out. So down, like where Walmart and Chick-fil-A is, that 17.
That's 17.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for clarifying.
The forum is 160 plus or
160,
minus
that's right.
acres. The other
Okay.
study area comparison was the rim at 280 acres plus or minus.
And then
Walmart's
the-
about 18, HEB is about 22.
Costco on Sunday, the massive amount of people, we need another one.
We don't even go on the weekend. We wait till Monday night and go.
I would just like to encourage
Bad.
EDC to send Costco a love letter.
I think
Actually,
New Braunfels
Walmart
Prime-
does those like small little community, right? Those little community stores. I don't see why they couldn't put one in Cibolo.
We already have a Walmart.
No, I said something similar, like Walmart, they'll have the super Walmarts, and then they'll have like
The
smaller.
neighborhood, it's
the
called the
neighborhood.
neighborhood Walmart.
That's
Sort of like
what
a
that was
neighborhood
supposed to be.
Costco would be looking nice.
You could have a big Costco out here and it would support it.
Yeah,
I think
if
New
you had a
Braunfels
big
has been trying to
Costco,
get
I'm pretty
Costco
sure
for
I would
10 plus
support it.
years, and they haven't been.
Hopefully
They haven't
Costco's watching.
made that happen.
Cibolo's wanting like other options like Trader Joe's.
Oh, Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's right there would be a nice.
We've already shut that Facebook down anyway, so.
Mr. Shoup, you have the floor.
Yes, ma'am. So there was quite a discussion in my group the last time I was here about the area down there to the, I guess you're going to say, west of Hackerville Road, between Lower Seguin and Schaefer Road. As you can see, it's marked off as community residential.
Yes.
That area there, as we all know, is right on the Cibolo Creek, number one. Number two is, if you look at the lot sizes that are already there, they're more supportive of a estate residential, number one. But number two, where, in our, going back to our character and intent, to protect our park space, open space, protecting natural resources, type of things like that, wildlife. Tell me where else on this side of the area are you doing that? Because I still say it should be estate residential and not community residential, where you're packing in all that impervious cover into all that area.
When I very first looked at that map, at this map, and I looked at where it is in the floodplain and adjacent to the flatlands over there, I don't think that it's a good for us to put community residential there.
No,
And
it
then
doesn't
there'll be
drain.
17 people that say, well, they can engineer it. But the reality is you can look at Houston as an example of them attempting to engineer floodwaters.
But then here, and if you do that, everything we do upstairs, and let's look at this, we're wanting to put commercial down in the city of Cibolo right across I-10 that already floods right there at Cibolo Creek, and now you're gonna double that by doing community residential over there, putting all that impervious cover in. I mean, no one's looking at the future. I was here in 98. You know, I was here in 2003.
I
I've been
agree
here
with you
through-
that it needs to be estate residential.
I completely agree, and I'm not exactly sure how it got to be community I missed the joint meeting, so maybe it happened then, but it was light yellow and now it's dark yellow, so I 100% agree. It needs to be estate residential, 1 acre, larger lots. There's not capacity out there for building anything, and I don't foresee anybody coming in to put it in, because that's millions and millions and millions of
So
dollars.
let's kind of take a straw poll of people think that it should be estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
Okay,
if you
so
were-
the straw poll reveals that if we made a motion to amend that to estate residential, specifically an area that I get a pen and circle it, and we make a motion,
Yes,
would
let's
y'all
do
be
that.
comfortable with that?
There's markers right
I mean,
here.
honestly, I think you could, Ms. Lau, I think you can make a motion to approve the flume with your corrections already included to go up
Yeah.
to, and rather than doing 2 motions, I think you
Yes,
can just
that's a
make the
good
motion
idea.
to approve it with our consensus to change that entire area, maybe do the meets and bounds as close as possible, the 4 corners of it, and say that whole area needs to be converted from community residential to estate residential.
Should I cross the street here? No. Just this side? Okay. Okay, so that should be estate.
Estate residential.
And that honestly goes in line with our rationale on the I-10, where we were saying, put it at the community residential, and if we ever want to go higher density, well, we can take it back to the planning and zoning
Okay.
and look at that. Because that's what we did right off the Regional Activity Center, as well as the industrial, light
Yeah.
industrial business park.
And as we get close, away from I-10 and closer to 78, we were getting larger lots until you get to 78, and then on, obviously, north of 78, we've got pretty much all developed. Not all, but mostly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that, that aligns with it. When we're closer to 10, we have a little bit higher density, and then as we kind of get closer to 78, we get bigger lots.
Yeah,
And Lower Seguin.
and I just want to,
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Shoup, for pointing that back out.
yeah, I just want to say the reason why we didn't have that as an area that we called out was because from that joint impact council P&Z EDC meeting, there was consensus in that area. I think given the fact that we're going to acquire that wastewater in that area, that was the reason why.
I would like to stop you right there and say that we have made general consensus of the MPAC board. And while I know there are alternative reasons for that,
Yeah, I just wanted to give clarification for those who weren't here, like Ms. Zimmerman.
And I
for that.
appreciate your clarification. I appreciate that clarity.
Of course.
me too.
So, would you like a motion then?
Yeah,
Well,
Ready
before,
for a
I have a
motion? Is there
question.
more questions?
She has a question. Carol?
1, 2, 3. So I guess the number 3?
1, 2, 3.
That one? Next to the 3 pinks and then the green, is that supposed to be estate or community residential above the green? Because it looks like it's estate.
does. There's a green square and a yellow square like attached to it,
Right.
on
On Schmeckel?
Here?
Yeah.
Thought it was supposed to be community. Everything below that line was community.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be community also.
I think it might be let's just make sure, but it might be a printer issue.
Oh, you're saying that green, which is rural, that shouldn't be rural.
Well, no, we
The
were
green
leaving
makes
the
no
rule, but then
yellow
that little
spot above
square,
the
it looks like
lighter.
it should be the darker yellow, not the lighter yellow.
This the little one, right?
Yeah, right here.
Right there.
That little itty bitty one.
I thought that was something that was there already.
Oh,
It was something, what, it was already something that's already.
it was
there.
already on the flume.
Water treatment.
Well, that's in that
Some-
green, wasn't it?
No, that water treatment, I think
Over on 10.
So that one was left that way because it is
78.
currently someone's homestead, and so that's why it was left at the lower density of the estate residential. But of course, it's up to this committee on if you would like to see that to be the darker yellow of community residential for consistency.
I'm fine with it staying the lighter yellow because it can always get more dense. Like we talked about last meeting, we can't, it's harder
Better
to go the opposite way.
yes. You'll never go
I think
the
we had
opposite direction.
discussed it being community residential, but I'm okay with it staying estate.
Are you okay with that?
Is there a reason why we did compact residential right off Country Lane? I mean, granted, we know where DR Horton is, but
That's the steel, what's it called? Yeah,
yeah, but that's behind the horse path, the horse.
I believe there was a discussion about it. What did we say? I know you two weren't here for that meeting, but we had a long discussion about that one too, I think. Not as long as the other one.
I think we had the discussion when we were talking about the roads.
I mean, same thing as the corner one should be green, it's rural residential, it's agriculture. About the other also. I mean, Kara and her, all that property over there, that's all agriculture. The one, I mean, they.
So moving from Val's one lot down, it should be green, 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 green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ag, 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 ag.
Just the lots along Country Lane, right? Not the one that kind of connects to Tolly.
Well, the corner lot there is agricultural
It
as
looks
well.
like there's a partial development in the one I'm talking about.
So the orange, see where the orange,
The one I'm talking about has what looks like streets drawn onto it in white.
this line right here
Yes,
is the divider.
Yeah.
This is
that's what I'm
all
asking.
ag.
So we're right here.
Yes. I'm asking if the lot above that, where you're
It's owned by
pointing.
DR Horton.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Okay, so that stays the way that it is, but the
Yes.
rest, I'm perfectly fine with that, and I'm on board with that decision.
Yes, Cody.
Community
All right,
residential.
okay, cool. I want to make sure that gets corrected and,
So that all of those lots turn green.
They need to turn green along Country Lane.
Yeah.
All I suggest is if we have more changes, then it might be prudent, what we were saying before, to do individual motions then, and then do the motion to approve it.
Do you want me to draw it on the map and say
That one
according
should
to
be
the
drawn
map?
on the map for sure.
Yeah.
Like we
Please.
did the Hakerville. Oh, we need a consensus.
Hold on. So I'm seeing this flume, but I don't see you identifying the ETJ versus what you have here. So I was looking at these colors on this side thinking I'm ETJ, but where I'm at in the ETJ, you have me sitting as a state residential and I'm sitting out there. I got, 30 chickens. I got 5 goats. I got 2 pigs. I got, a donkey. Or a donkey coming, excuse me. So, and my neighbors around us we're all small ag type of thing, that 2+ acres.
And you'll
so-
stay that way.
So,
Yeah, and you'll stay that way until you're taken into the city and you decide to sell and a developer comes in. That's when the developer comes in, they'll be able to apply for rezoning and they'll justify that rezoning based off of what the flume says. But you will stay in your current zoning and you will not be required to make any changes. unless, it's not changing your zoning.
And so,
The
yeah,
flume
and so
isn't.
I was part of, the forced annexation
Uh-huh.
has been stopped.
Yes.
However, there's a bunch of people fighting that
Uh-huh.
particular legislation right now. And so we got all these so if legislation changes back, then I fall into an area that we're gonna have to have a serious discussion, because what about my animals, my ag that I have
So-
going on out there?
You'll
So
stay
you-
that way.
So right now you are, that is colored as estate residential with, may include farm and livestock, and is 1/2 to 2 acres. Does that seem,
Yeah, that's what we wrote in there.
is that what you were thinking it should be, Mr. Shoup?
Well, I mean, we're, right across, if you start looking at a lot of these properties around my neighborhood, so that's my neighbors.
Can you point us that don't know which neighborhood's yours?
So,
What street is
Thank
it?
you.
I am right here,
Okay.
and then, so all these folks over here, so.
Is that short while?
That's short while that
Okay.
runs this way, but I'm on Wild where it runs
Okay.
this way. So, I don't know what's gonna fix to happen across the street from it. I can tell you, we got a petting zoo over here, we got people with large livestock. My
Okay.
neighbor right behind me has cows,
Yes.
horses. He has
Yeah.
his own horse arena, for running not bucking shoot, rope and shoot.
Yes.
All of that area over there, and it's all zone, wow, community residential, and
So the issue that I have with community residential there, and I just want to make a note, it doesn't super bother me, community residential, because I'm not as at risk as he is, but,
It's a state. It's the light yellow,
okay.
which
But,
makes me
but
even happier.
south of Short While Road is.
South of, you're right,
is
yes.
community residential. And here's the issue, that the only ways going north and south are Tolly and Sassman. And those are like,
The worst roads to drive on.
well, I mean, even with the Tolly Road improvement, the reality is it's gonna be a 2-lane road, no shoulders.
Well, we don't have the future roadway map, because remember, there was some improvements around there that were on the future
Yeah,
thoroughfare.
but Tolly Road wasn't one of them. Malcolm, do you recall?
Probably wasn't. Well, I don't think he was here for that
I think
conversation.
Country Lane has been up for, I think I remember when my cousin got ran over on that road.
I mean, if you put
On the
higher density housing there, it would force the developer to fix their portion, that, like, where,
Well, yes, it makes them required to fix the portion.
a portion.
Yes, but you can you can conflict them to do, a larger portion. You know what I mean? There's.
Yes, I do. I've seen a public infrastructure agreement epically fell in
Oh, that's not what
Buffalo
I'm
Crossing.
talking about. That's not what I'm
Okay.
referring to. But there are ways to do it. It has to be implemented properly, but it has to be on the future thoroughfare plan in order to require them to do that improvement. So I'm fine with turning this whole area between Short While, and Sassman, all light yellow, because in my opinion, I think it would be more beneficial. That's just my opinion. You can always go more dense.
I concur.
But I want to make sure that these roads, when we get to that, are on the future thoroughfare plan, because they need major improvements, because they're in horrible condition. They have been for
Would
many years.
everybody be
And if a
comfortable?
development comes in, yes, it's bad. And if a developer comes in, we have to have it on that thoroughfare plan in order to even ask them to do their portion.
Yeah, I 100% agree with what you just said.
Okay, so I have a question. I agree with this community residential going to state residential, one, due to the reasons that she stated, Ms. Simmons has stated. Now, I would like to also wonder about the section that Mr. Shoup had mentioned, it going rural agricultural, because when you look at the map, there's nothing over there. So it kind of helps balance out by giving a little section of a different type of living in that area. And if they're already in that zone, that place type, why can't we just leave them in that place type for that section right there? And that just kind of gives you a different balance looking at
It
the
is the very
colors.
Aggie side of town.
My question is, and maybe I missed it, what type of habitat can be built in rural residential agriculture? What type of housing can be built?
In rural residential?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
2 acres is the minimum.
Yeah, it has
Okay.
to be at least 2
Does that help?
acres. Primary use is single-family detached homes, agricultural, parks, and open space. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, it's good to rediscuss it. And then, of course, civic and industrial agricultural business is also under there for secondary.
Well,
But ideally farmhouses.
I kind of feel like that's what's over there, and being adjacent to Santa Clara, which is also in that same, I don't think Santa Clara allows anything less than 2 acres. I kind of. These are all 3 to 5. 3 to 5, yeah. 3 to 5, yeah. It is a very agricultural
It
side
is.
of
But
our.
there is some development out there in making this on Weil, but it looks like that area is already orange. So I want to make sure that everybody's aware of that, those houses that are basically on top of each other on Weil Road.
Yeah, they need to stay small, because that road.
Well, and I mean, that has to do with
about the one
services,
on the
the
Green
city
Valley, too.
services, providing the city services and coming into the city service. So if they're wanting to do that, then they need to stay to either rural residential,
Haven't asked
agricultural,
for rezoning.
or estate residential.
Yeah.
So what is the straw poll? To ag, leave it ag, or turn it back to ag?
Well, we have two discussion items on the table. The first one is to turn the light yellow that's up off of Weil and Short Weil, I guess kind of north-ish of Short Weil, in between Short Weil and Weil. That's a lot of Wiles. And then the area between Weil, Short Weil, and Sossman, that yellow area, the community residential, this is the second item, is to turn that to be estate residential, the lighter yellow. So there's two discussions kind of going on at the
So
same time.
let me point to it on this map and make sure I had got it straight.
Yeah, Country Lane.
We already talked about that. Did she not put it on?
No, she has.
Okay, I'm sorry, what was I supposed to put on? Let's do Country Lane first. Okay, so this is the dividing line right here, okay, to the Steel Creek subdivision. This is the trailer parks, Val's and the other one, so I'm gonna come down here. And this will become ag.
There's like 3 to 4 lots.
I mean, would you?
Well, it's the Twinter's horse barn, and I forget, Malcolm, whose is this?
Yeah, but,
Yeah, thank you.
and then what?
Nobles.
I mean, what can go across the street from Country Lane? Like
This is estate,
It's a state.
It's a state.
estate, 2 plus acres. Oh, wait, half acre.
No, it's a
Half acre to 2.
half to 2 acres.
Yeah, but I'm just seeing a whole bunch of floodplain.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's
So I mean,
But
okay.
2 acres in a
This is all
pond.
gonna be ag,
2 acres in a
rural.
pond?
2 acres in a
Yes.
pond,
I'm
square
sorry,
away.
rural,
They-
green,
that's
yes,
deep
green.
there.
Okay, now the first part of it is this square, right here. And this is what you're wanting to leave estate residential or ag?
No, but he's talking about the darker yellow right now, by Sossman, and it goes on the other side of
Show me.
Sossman too.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So,
Both sides
this,
of Sossman.
this,
It's like
both sides of Sassman Road on here on
it's
Short
estate
While.
residential also.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it comes down to where now that all this has already been, this one's platted out right here.
We had planned that.
But, I mean, that's already a subdivision platted out, so I mean, you could actually come down and.
So are we saying this would become estate? Estate, to half acre to 2,
But see, like this is.
Miss Ellard, yes.
We're asking if you want to see hands.
Okay, so this entire square right here would become light yellow estate residential, half acre to 2 acre lots, is that correct?
Okay, well, these are all 3 to 5 right here.
Okay, so do I have a show of hands that they would like this area to become estate, half acre to 2 acre lots? Are you okay with that, or you want it to be ag?
I think it should residential because it's currently, most of those are being used as estate residential now.
Okay,
But also too, to let everybody fully aware, our decision
But can he
here
have, what
is
he's
not
worried about
changing
is.
anything.
okay, I want to bring your attention to, so I'm going to box this like this, right? This whole area. This whole area?
No, this is this here is all the different individual lots, and they're all 1 acre or less. So this one here, I don't know what these lots, I don't know the size of these lots here.
Okay. And they look like half acre. So this area is going to stay estate residential. That's half acre to 2 acre lots, yes?
Yeah, they're all 3 to 5 to 10.
Okay, let me see a show of hands. This area right here minus this is going to become light yellow, estate residential, half acre to 2 acre lots.
Yeah, that's fine, yep.
Seems fair.
Claudia?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just.
Okay. Estate.
Also on the Hesters right here, they're 100 acres. That's not like yellow,
Okay.
that's agricultural.
Okay. So there are a couple of other things that we wanted to make sure that we got straight. This big portions of land right here are currently a ranch.
Yes.
All of this right here.
That's what I was trying to
That's
say,
fine.
they're all ranches, they're all horses.
It can stay that way, but if they decide to sell off, one day they can put a large, farmhouse and have 2 acres or 10 acres or.
But up here is,
It allows them to
the
parse out their-
petting zoo
Yeah,
up
exactly.
here, these are all 3 to 5 acre
That's
lots,
exactly
there's,
right.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, it doesn't meet the criteria for what we have for half acre to 2 acres. on
But
all
if this
on
area-
all these parcels owned by different people.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. This area and my
Well-
area going up there, it doesn't make sense because none of these fit it and you can't divide it.
What you said again. Say that again, Mr. Schuster.
None of these parcels that are here, they're all 3 to 5 acres, okay? So it doesn't meet the half acre to 2 acre estate.
Okay.
And they're owned by different people, all owned by different people, not the same. So all of those, they're the same as coming off of Wild Road to here is the same thing. And then you get into the larger properties over here, next to the Stevens tract, over to the Johnson tract, all these folks over here. You get into larger tracts that are actually 10, 15, 20 acres that could be done as an estate residential. But there's no way to take my 3 acre tract with 2 acres of it being in the floodplain
Correct.
to
but-
make it fit your half acre to 2 acres.
Yeah, but that's current use. You're discussing current use and we're discussing future use. So current use is correct, but if you have 3 to 5 acres, you can break that down. If it's estate residential, it gives you an opportunity to break it down and sell off part of it, not your property specifically,
Without
but your
rezoning.
neighbors, without having to rezone.
So,
Half acre lot.
It wouldn't mean that you have to
If you have 5,
change.
you get
Those people
paid
don't have to
half-acre
change.
lots out of that. Ideally not, please, but.
you only use a little part of the front.
And you're probably on septic, so you have to have a minimum of 1.
This is. So Ms. Kerr brought up an important point. Ms. Kerr brought up that we have this commercial, this odd commercial in here.
Yes, and then you also have.
So the GVEC power plant is this parcel right here, blue, the blue parcel. That's a storage unit. So they are commercial. So do we leave this one commercial as well?
I mean,
Or-
what's its current state? Not that we're going
I
off
mean,
of
I don't think- I
current
think
use,
this
but I'm just
is-
wondering.
It's out of bounds disc golf.
Oh, that's why.
That's my neighbor.
Yes, that's your neighbor.
That's my neighbor.
It is commercial already. It's being used as commercial, so
I
I
mean,
think it should stay that way on the future land use map.
Just changing the dark
Yeah.
yellow to light yellow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just the dark yellow delight. And what about over here on the other side? I think we leave this a little bit higher density Because it's right there on 1103 across and adjacent to the school. I mean, it's already kind of in that.
What are you suggesting? I'm sorry.
So this corner
Yes.
of
Yeah.
Weil and Bright and all that.
Yeah, right behind that little
Down into,
turn.
runs right into the storage area. So that's the storage lot. That's where they have the big office.
So, but over here, this is like,
I don't know if that's ever happening.
I would suggest leave that as community residential.
I would
'Cause you're right,
also-
it is right there in the dense area.
I would also leave it the same, and then it can always be changed later. I think it makes sense what you're saying, commercial there, but I think that we could also use some larger lots, you know? I've always loved
so
one of those
is-
ranches
you're
right
saying you
there.
want to move it to estate residential over here too?
I think just leave it the way that it is.
Okay. All right.
And then, wait, did we talk about above while and short while? We didn't have that conversation, the second part of that, yes. We talked about maybe moving that to rural residential. To green.
I can tell you, you already had that subdivision that came in,
Yes, the orange one.
you know,
You need some green space in there because of the
Yeah.
water.
I agree. Yeah,
We got to have some more green over there. We have to have more green over there.
So just so you know, this is like the water hash liney thingies.
Yeah, it's hard to see because the ETJ
So
hash lines are on there too.
just perspective.
Yeah.
It starts right here. It starts in the back of this lot right here. It runs through the back of my property. Over the 2/3 of my property. And then it comes across, right there down
Yeah.
Sackman Lane, Sackman Road.
A floodplain.
Yeah, I can start doing it.
So guys, adjacent to that, is that what you want to do? Are we done with this? Are we, hello?
So you're looking at ag, right?
Estate residential.
No, they're talking about rural residential because this is floodplain, a lot of floodplain.
And that just means 2+ acre lots, right?
Yes, sir.
That's fine.
May I have everybody's attention, please? Ladies?
I can tell you for this subdivision here, their outlet, their drainage pond comes across Wild Road and runs into the back of the, running through my area.
That's,
So if you come back in and start trying to put all this impervious cover on top of that floodplain,
Well, they have to.
you're already dealing with that city.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand the drainage concerns, but if developer comes in and they're gonna put in any impervious cover, they have to mitigate that in their drainage studies and they have to implement things. Don't laugh, this is the way it's supposed to work. This is the way that cities are, and communities are supposed to be planned and implemented.
1,000 feet beyond the property line.
so I just would like to recap quickly with a straw poll. So it has been proposed that this area where the floodplain is, this area, and these few larger lots right here, which are along Wild Road and I believe in the ETJ, would be for future development zoned rural, agricultural. Straw poll for in favor? For green, ag. Okay. Make sure, please watch me draw this. So I'm gonna come all the way down here, go over here, go like that, go like this, go like that. Do I keep going up into this area? There's no floodplain here. Okay.
Is agricultural, that next lot over right there, that's already,
Yeah, but right now it's zoned a little more dense and it's between two very dense subdivisions. So this would become ag.
Yes.
Ag. And this is a state residential.
I misunderstood something you were saying a second ago, and I apologize, so she's gonna help fix it.
No, go ahead.
No, you go, it's your.
I feel like, okay, so all of that housing around the curve there, that pond that's right there on the curve and stuff, and how it flows downhill to where.
Oh, yeah, you're super right.
So, those should be, estate residential.
So she is talking about the pond adjacent to Steele High School.
Right down here.
That big water tank, there's on the properties behind it and several properties down, that floodplain.
Okay, hold on, time out.
She says she thinks that she has something from the property owner asking for a specific use on the flume for this, so she's gonna look it up.
Probably commercial.
I think she said community residential, but that still scares me about all that water.
They'll have to mitigate. They're supposed to mitigate.
don't.
That's the
So,
city's
okay,
requirement.
a reason for denial of more density is water. Water.
Slightly different. So it's this one right below. They had wanted to keep theirs estate residential, so that's in agreement with what you're proposing of making this estate residential. It's this corner that the property owners wanted to make that neighborhood commercial.
Yes. It's already neighborhood commercial. They already have an event center there. So one of the things I want to make sure that I make some clarity on Ms. Zimmerman's statements. She said that it is our job, as we say what the future land use maps are, that the engineering should be done to retain that water. But in planning, Citizen Planner 101, one of the things that they said was that the bodies making land use should observe if they know that it is a flood area and not allow overdevelopment. And the picture that they gave us in Citizen Planner 101 as an example of this was a Planning and Zoning Commission board that allowed a senior citizen center to be built in a building, in an existing building that did not have a BLE. And that's one where you saw in Katrina where all the elderly folks were sitting in their waist up to their waters.
To the non-engineers, can you BLE?
I'm sorry. A base.
I know what it is, but I know that.
A base level elevation. And so base level elevation does alter the floodplain. It can alter the floodplain. And so it is something that we should not be saying, well, they'll fix it.
Correct. No,
Yeah.
and that's not what I'm
Yeah,
implying.
I knew that's not what you meant,
Right.
but
I think that we are making the right choices for the density, and that prevents what they were warning against is overdevelopment. But I
Yes.
think that it's important to know that there are rules and requirements put in place that any impervious cover added has to be mitigated. So I think that we're making the right choices by selecting the right types here, and that prevents it not being too dense. And then whatever does eventually go there, it has to be followed through with making sure the rules and requirements are met, that any mitigation that is required is done by that development, not put off on somebody else or not, other things.
Ma'am, would you like me to put that corner of Tolly and Weil as commercial? And is everybody on a straw poll comfortable with allowing that corner that already has an event center to be made commercial? Is everybody okay with that?
Especially if that's what
They're saying the current use is,
But the zoning is not, like it's.
I don't know about the zoning because I
This
don't
is
have the
future
zoning.
land, like if it was to get sold.
It is confirmed to be commercial.
Just make it commercial, just do it.
Here's a pink harbor, just cover your face.
But hang on before you clear it, because they have said that they will want to move out there and build a house out there, so.
They're requesting it from the city.
Okay, there's been some controversy over what the homeowner wants. Do you have the homeowner's request in writing?
Yeah, I would
Which one?
caution.
The corner of Tolly and Weil Road. Do you have that in writing?
But Ms. Latimer.
Okay, then I'm not doing that.
Okay, but I would also do caution about taking in,
If I
personal
could-
requests from landowners, because if we do it for one, then why aren't we doing it for everybody else?
Good point.
And then you can circumvent rezoning, not rezoning, but you know what I mean?
I do.
It makes the rezoning way
I think it's
muddier.
already zoned that, right?
Well, that's what they just confirmed,
Okay.
yes.
So.
All right,
if-
then we're going to move on from that.
If I could just add,
The property owner made that crystal clear in a meeting with myself, Mr. Hicks, the mayor, and Stosh Boyle. So several people witnessed that, but I can get that in writing from the Andrews, and we'll provide that to the planning department.
But I do agree with Mr. Mattingly that probably it would be wildly inappropriate for this to hear from individual homeowners. Thank you for pointing that out. Very valid.
I think that more than anything, its current use is commercial. So if the body feels comfortable with it being up there in pink, then, because it's its current use and its current zoning, that's fine.
I think that's a valid point as well. I think that is
But
valid.
I agree completely. We should not be taking special requests, but I think that its current use and its current zoning matter more than any of those other things.
Yeah.
So around it, though, should be a state resident.
I agree.
Yes.
Is everybody, let's take a straw poll, okay with training that to commercial in the future land use map? Not because an individual requested it, but because we know that is what it currently is used at this, and we would like to keep it that way. No?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, so then you're changing.
I shook my
So
head
then
no
the rest
because
of
this
it
is a lot of conversation on something that already
So then-
exists to me.
This is compound.
Are we good
I mean, community residential.
And you wanted to state, okay, okay.
Can we get a motion to approve the flume as corrected on that map?
Hang on, I need to change this, remember, to a state. Thank you, Claudia. Dr. Walker
I
pointed
think
that
that's the
out.
last one that we've talked about so far.
I think we are up to date with everything else.
Corner Regional Activity Center then?
No, it's red. It's commercial, neighborhood commercial. Do you want me to call it out?
Pink. Red is a recreational, or sorry, regional. Why do I want to say recreational? It's a rack.
Does that help you?
Yeah.
Okay. I gave her what she needed.
Now we can take a motion. Does anybody else have anything? I hope not. We talked for a long time.
I thought it was
I move to approve this draft flume that we drew on with the changes that we made today.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Do you all feel like you need to take a break at this point? Or are y'all just wanting to truck through? Are you wanting to take a break or you want to truck through? A short break? Okay, yeah, we can take a short break.
Excuse me, we will take a 2-minute break because somebody needs to Okay, I'd like to call the meeting back into order so that we can go ahead and move forward and we can get home to our families. Moving on to, we didn't? Okay,
We only got to like, oh, what number did we get through?
take it away,
All
Mr.
right.
Aaron. Spencer?
Yes, ma'am.
Please and thank you.
Not a problem. So our next discussion action item, or actually this is presentation item because this is a continuation of our last meeting with the MTP activity. So you all have an 11 by 17 version of the updated flume in front of you, or MTP. And so we're just going to continue that exercise. If you all recall, we had gotten through a number of those planned roads that were north of FM 78. We kind of started some discussions south of FM 78. And so I would take a chance to look and review just to make sure that we captured that feedback correctly. We will go ahead and we will start with, let me see. I think, yeah, we had started with discussion on 14 and 15. With 14, if you all recall, it kind of did like a weird curve going down to, what is that, Hakerville Road? Yeah, Hakerville and Lower Seguin. So we had the correction to straighten it out. And then with 15, this was a little further down, and we had our GIS coordinator to make 15 to hug the property line of Venado Crossing so that it's coming straighter this way. So I think those were the corrections that we made south of FM 78 that we didn't necessarily have consensus on, but that was the direction that we were given. So if you all want to start from 14, we can work our way down. So the questions I want you all to keep in mind, we kind of had them presented before, is do you agree with that alignment or expansion of the roadway? And two, do you agree with the classification shown on the map?
Which number are we looking at?
So right now we're looking at number 14.
Road there.
Negative and negative.
I understand the thought process behind extending Main Street since, I mean, Cibolo's Main Street is itty bitty. But I don't necessarily think that extending it down through what we just changed to estate residential is the ideal route. I think that if that area that we just changed to estate residential on the flume develops as estate residential, I think it would be better to have Hakerville be the major connector, or sorry, the collector, not connector, collector, or stay a collector. I do understand the meaning of extending Main Street, though, I should say that.
But also too, though, when you're developing south of 78, you have to create a grid system here. I mean, you're going to have collectors, not major arterials, but collectors that are going to have to be going through these areas. I mean, even with estate residential, I mean, imagine that land is more than what, 500 acres or more, right? So, I mean, estate residential, or excuse me, state residential, right? Not agriculture, but estate residential is 2+ acres. So we're talking about potentially hundreds of homes. I mean, you're going to have something that's going to bring you north to south in that area. Now, again, I'm not saying it's going to go exactly right there, and I think it was originally caveated that these are estimate locations, but just the idea of a road of a collector, which a collector, if I'm not mistaken, is a right of way of what, 80 feet? Two lane,
66 is the 24 definition. Collector,
66 right
it
away.
says, can vary widely in function, blah, blah, blah. Its examples include Main Street, Bentwood Ranch, major collector in Cibolo has a right-of-way requirement of 66 feet. Arterials are 86. That's probably where you got that 80
Okay.
from.
And
So-
I'm thinking about, I agree with you with the
Have to
fact.
build a grid
You
system.
have to
I
build
do
something so
understand,
that way
yeah.
emergency services can get there quickly.
Of course, absolutely. Still got to
mean-
service these folks out here. I mean, you have to, one thing that we do have to plan here is we have to grid it, east to west, north to south.
It might also help the development in that area to be what we planned it to be on the flume, which is estate residential.
So if you
I
look
don't
at
like
this,
the bend.
if you look at the spatial reasoning, so if you look at the straight section of 1103 before it curves, does that hard curve, and you look on either side there, it would seem like it would be about the same amount of housing, but estate housing, so it wouldn't be as dense. Or you could look over off of Cibolo Valley Drive, which is the, the minor arterial, right? And this is only a collector.
Yeah,
So I think if it was a minor arterial, I would
agree.
I would frowny face
Yes.
too. But because it's a collector plan, I think that we're gonna have somewhat of that extension coming off of Main Street because they're trying to keep the traffic off of Hagerville. And so I could see that neighborhood having its access up to HEB and then the Hagerville neighborhoods going the other way.
So if they're trying to keep the traffic off of Hagerville, then why would they be coming in with the road there that's right above it, there's Schaefer Road? Why
she
would they
means
come-
all the traffic. If this whole area develops as we've planned it in the future land
Yeah.
use, then
It
there
would be
will be a
nice to have a
lot more
north,
traffic.
it would be nice to have a minor arterial. Right now, it's a collector plan. Maybe,
But you'll get
I
used-
think that's as small as you can get, right?
You have collector?
Yeah,
Yeah,
some
of course.
That's
minor.
as small as you can get. So I agree, if there needs to be a road, it should be a collector.
But
Okay.
it's connecting right into Hagerville Road, that
Well, it's not.
No, it's not.
14,
No, it
Well,
connects.
on the bottom of
Oh,
Hagerville.
to below, Lower Seguin,
connecting right into
yes.
Hagerville
but
Road, so
yeah.
it's gonna become a straight thoroughfare.
Well, I don't think
Straight
that
to
it
Main
should
Street.
have this kind of curve
Oh, you're talking about.
No,
okay.
this
where it
one's
connects
14.
on Lower Seguin, or
Yeah,
at Lower
it's gonna
Seguin.
cross Lower Seguin, so it's going all the way straight out to I-10. It's not gonna be maintained, you're gonna have it done as a collector, and it's gonna be, have people traveling on it like it's a major road.
I think that's a good point. I don't like that it connects to the lower section of Hagerville. I would rather, and that bend looks dangerous, honestly. So I would, yes, exactly. I mean, that's more of a bend than 1103 is. And so I would like to see that just go straight down into Lower Seguin. It'll also prevent people from
That's
using it
Lower
as a pass-through.
They're talking about 16.
A pretty good drag strip to me.
Oh, right here.
No, we're talking about, see 20 at the bottom? That's Hagerville below Lower Seguin. Yeah,
Right here. Right here?
I mean, that's gonna be,
14, but I don't see 20.
that'd become a race, that's gonna
down
become a
below.
major thoroughfare
It's,
race.
you can barely see the circle on the screen.
Well, I would just like to say it's about 6 to 1/2 dozen of the other because you're gonna have to have a light turning one way or the other versus just having a curve in the road of a minor road that collects down to Hagerville. Yes, Ms. Keller.
Okay, my concern is, one, it is an S curve. Two, I can see people cutting through all the way, and Main Street cannot handle that cut through of traffic. So,
But it's a state residential, so we're never gonna, I'm sorry.
so I would prefer to not present it as an option of a quick cut through for people to get through using Main Street and Old Town. So just even having it a little bit of a, oh, I've got to have to take a light, I'm going to have to take another light to the right, or whatever, might prevent them from using it as a straight cut through.
And obviously, some point, you'll have some young kid go down there at 90 mile an hour, hit that S curve, forget it's there, and off the road he goes.
Have you ever seen Tolly Road turn into Country Lane?
Right, we should fix that too.
Yeah, but our speed limit's 25 now, so, I mean, when they're going the speed limit, they're.
Swear to God.
Wait.
Malcolm McLaughlin, none of us agreed to it. He sold us out.
I can sell anybody out of the
Wait, do
25.
y'all remember when they
Yeah, he
did
did.
the road study on that road? Y'all know what the average speed was on Tully Road?
55.
It was 65 miles an hour. Just so y'all know that. Just so y'all know that. When they did the road study, and this was when I was in high school, it was 65 miles an hour. Just saying.
I know. One time my horse got loose on Tolly Road and I was trying to get them back. They were going by.
So, yeah, so there's, that's all the points.
Not to digress, can we circle back to item 14, please?
So it becomes, it's attaching into a minor arterial, which we know is going to become a major arterial because it runs all the way out to I-10, number one. Number two, we just changed that area that it's running through, which, can you imagine if that was to stay community residential and you had all the high-impact homes on both sides of this? Now it's not going to stay a collector plan. I mean,
Well, it would,
that's
how it would
on top
be
of
built, which wouldn't work for the development.
Minor arterial
Yeah.
at best. But how about we do this? Remove the curve and have it terminate in Lower Seguin.
Directly, like a straight shot.
Yeah, just
into-
stop. Yeah,
That's
just
what
stop.
Yeah. I'm on board with that.
I like it. It gives you two choices to
Okay,
easily choose from.
and I'll give in to that, and there's our compromise.
Yeah, because, I mean, now you're creating two break points for somebody to go that way,
Yeah,
right?
you can either go right and go down, or you can
Yeah.
take a left and go
Yeah,
down.
exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
So,
You guys okay with that?
Yes. I think so.
One's gonna be 35.
Yeah.
Poll everybody in favor of Red Yard
what they're gonna
Poll
do,
everybody in favor.
this is gonna come in and terminate right there.
We are drawing Road 14
How you wanna
straight
Get that out of
Just
here.
listen.
to Lower Seguin and
Thank you,
keeping
sir.
it a collector, future collector.
All right.
Did you get it?
Yes, ma'am. So I have it going straight down all the way to Lower Seguin, and we're terminating this S curve.
Moving to the next one. A next one?
Yes, 15.
15 goes, that's, is that no, it's not a risky, is that? It goes straight. Okay, just logistically wise, I don't agree, I don't think that this one is gonna work because it goes over that, drainage there that the city just, improved to drain better. So it would need a major bridge to go over that. You can't go down, and, I mean, if you do, you're gonna have to cut it off every single time it rains.
Amen. Amen.
So I think logistically, this doesn't make any sense. I think 16 is a much better road to cut from 78 to get over to Hagerville. And it exists, it just needs improvements. Yes, sir.
16 is a private road on the other side. Yes,
It is
Mr.
on the other
Shute.
side currently, but Orispy is an existing road.
So if you can go around that and you have, why can't we go around the outside of this subdivision that's right there and come straight up to Fawnston?
Can you point on the map? Sorry, I'm trying to follow.
It,
If we come, why don't you come right here and come in and attach it to Fawnston? If they're planning this collector right there, from 78 to I-10, look how, almost a nice straight run, and you just come right through here and go right around that
I think the intent was to get an east-west connection.
okay, pause.
You got a Risby Road.
Pause just for
You got
1
Risby
minute.
that's-
That's what I'm saying.
Let's pause discussion for just 1 minute. I know that because of Venado Crossing, there was some public infrastructure agreement made for a road that runs back that direction. Is that the road that is in play because of Venado Crossing?
Good question. Number 15?
Yes, it is.
15, the little dot.
Venado Crossing is that orange, right? Can you show us where Venado Crossing is on the map? That's the orange right there next to 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, why can't it go straight down?
Okay, there's an agreement. So even though this is a tentative future road, it may not be under our purview.
It may not, say it
Be
again?
under our purview. And there may have already been agreement for the length, the distance, and the location
Well,
of it.
it's still under us to recommend or, keep on the thoroughfare plan.
Yeah, I think it goes like that. That's just, do away with 15. And I think you do away with you run it into Fonsdale. I think that's the smartest thing.
North and south.
I think their intent is to get east and west, though.
There is an agreement. There is an agreement.
So who agreed to pay for the way to get over the?
The developer. That's why I think
I don't think the developer is gonna foot the bill for that bridge. But
there
we
was
need
an
to ask.
agreement that
Is that the agreement that he would pay for that bridge?
So they're doing that portion
Thank you.
here,
Okay,
but it does not include any commitment to have to
Okay.
bring this way.
okay, thank you.
So let's just go down.
I don't think that 15 is necessary at all because we have 16, which extends Arispe and it connects to Fonsteel. And you're already, there's already a bridge there to go across Arispe in the creek. So I think that if it needed to be expanded, I think it would be easier to do that than building a brand new road that doesn't exist today. And it's gonna be millions of dollars to get over that drainage.
Okay, I concur. Yeah, I say remove 15, because you got 78 and a Risby right there.
There you go. I agree.
I personally think that east-west road, as that area gets developed around the school, what's all green and see that blue, as that area gets developed, I would want to hold the line on having an east-west road. That we could point to the developer and say, maybe it doesn't occur here, but it occurs somewhere within your development that you build the road over for that,
You're saying when that orange portion develops?
as they develop and as development swings out, if we have that road in place, and Mr. Reed, please correct me if I am wrong, sorry. I got a mid-cracker. If we don't have the future thoroughfare plan showing over the water, and we begin to get development in there, the developer could say, well, you don't show a road over there, so we'd be better off to have it on there, and then tell them they could move it in a more congruent way, but that they have to foot the bill for that access. Because it could be the difference between, listen, it could be the difference between the two exits. And it could be the difference between our fire trucks being able to get in there and get out of there. And so while I agree with you that the burden for Road 15 should not be placed on the citizens of Cibolo until a developer comes in there, we cannot leave that area of town unroaded for a developer to come in and develop and not have to think that he has to clear that floodplain
My
for us.
suggestion doesn't leave it unroaded. It just removes one of the proposed future roads and it utilizes the existing roads, just to be clear. And the city of Cibolo can't even afford to do the drainage and the design for 1103
A
to get
proposed
widened
road-
across the creek on right past the school, between the school and HEB. So there's no developer that's going to come in and put that investment into this. I'm
what-
just being realistic
No,
here.
that is how we got the bridge allegedly in a bad PIA, but that is how Cibolo got the bridge paid for through Buffalo Crossing, is because they had it on the FTP, and the FTP indicated that there was going to be a bridge over that 100-year plan. It in no way obligates this city to build that road in our lifetime or our
I
great-grandchildren.
understand that. I'm fully aware, yes.
Then why would we remove two east-west I'm bad with directions.
That's where I stand. So, and it sounded like I had some other people that agreed with me, but you've made some points, so let's just take a vote on it.
Hold on 1 second, please. Go ahead, Mr. Reed.
So, Ms. Latimer and members, I do want to point out that the new north-south connector, which was only introduced on January 30th, now joins Hagerville Road, where Road 15 was previously drawn to intersect Hagerville Road. I just want to point out that intersection won't work in the future. Should we build that north-south connector if it stays on the map? So imagine that north-south connector becoming the through road as it joins Hagerville Road. Hagerville Road that the city is just and is currently finishing with the bridge.
Crossing
would
it.
tee into Hagerville Road, right? So right now it is Hagerville Road. Road 15 is now conflicting with that future T intersection. I just want to point out whether or not you have a west-east road that crosses Town Creek and joins Hagerville Road. Just tonight, I pieced it together, because again, it was only January 30th that there was consensus on that north-south connector. That alignment no longer works. Do you all follow me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you. I just wanted to
didn't
point
think
that
it
out.
did.
that-
So you said 14 doesn't work.
15.
doesn't work anymore.
Thank you, Cody.
With the north-south connector, which I'm not a fan of.
Taking 15 out.
So
Well,
do
I'm
you
presuming-
recommend that we take 15 out or move it down?
I would say remove it.
I'm asking Mr. Reed right now, but thank you.
I think you need a connector to break up that landmass from Hagerville Road over to 78 north of Oresby Road.
Can you use your pointer, please, and show us what you're talking about?
So this area here, having no collector to funnel local traffic.
North and south?
Yeah, to get to a collector down here, this is a collector, right?
So Ashley, you want to move it north and south?
No, I don't want it at all. That's where I stand.
Okay, and I'm respecting, y'all are making that decision, but this alignment, I'm just asking y'all to recognize that conflict right there. That just doesn't.
Wait, point it again, where's the conflict? Right there where?
See the black line?
Yeah, right there, okay, where that
Yeah, yeah,
connection is,
okay.
okay.
Again,
So-
the north-south connector wasn't on this map until after January.
Sure, okay.
All right.
So
But
you're
you're saying
saying
we
that
don't need
15, you would say that 15 could then go away, but the green road that's adjacent to Venado Crossing would come down to Oresby?
I could see that working.
That would work.
That's what I'm.
That, yeah, okay, see, okay.
That's what
So-
Oresby,
Well,
It needs to go north-south.
it works.
yes,
Yes.
And you don't need
But-
purple line going across.
I would come out going east-west and then go down, not a straight line straight down to Oresby. I would come out
Yeah, I
exactly
think
how it's going
the
and then stay along the orange, the
Yeah.
other side,
The property line?
the property line.
Yeah.
Oh,
Left.
come across some and then go down?
Yeah, come across them and then come down.
Go between the orange and the green? That's what
Ye-
you're saying?
Yes, or right along it, you know?
So
Well,
that would
was-
become the new.
So that was a PUD, right? If I-
No.
Back in the day?
Venado?
Bernardo was a PUD, was it not?
Yes.
Yes.
It was.
So there
But
is
that
supposed
was
to
the
be, there is supposed to be commercial.
Commercial.
So if you bring it out west, you start coming out west, it helps build the commercial area, and then come straight down to Oresby. Does that make sense?
What you're proposing, and I don't know if you want to come and see,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
the
yeah.
current 2016 future land use map and thoroughfare plan does show, I think, what you're talking about. So this is Venado Crossing, and I don't know if this is on, I apologize. But it does show that, oh, hello, thank you. But it does show it coming down and then hitting, thank you, connecting with the Ritzby there.
Yeah, so I'm saying come more this way, and then come down to Oresby.
Well, I mean, as long as we have it proposed,
You know what I mean?
and it's green,
Can
right?
I-
Collector.
Could I have you do that on this side?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're on the wrong plan.
Just so we're keeping all the notes in one spot, that way.
Everybody's
So not this green one continuing, it's the purple swinging around. Oh,
No, you're good. Everybody's good with doing away with 15. Can I have a show of hands if you're good with doing away with road 15?
It's 15, but
It's changing the route.
Okay.
routes, but it's still 15, it's just
The
changing.
dotted part of 15 is done away with. Everybody in agreement? Raise your hand.
Okay.
Okay, we have agreement on that. So then it's going to go down and follow,
The property line.
yes,
That one, the green and orange Chirrisby, that one.
yes, and you drew it, right?
Yes.
Cody. I could not think of Cody's name. I was like, I'm like,
You can call him anything.
why can I not think of Cody's name?
on the property line, correct?
Yes.
Okay, we'll just move that.
And you drew it. Do you need a bigger, fatter marker?
I got it.
You got it? Yeah. Thank you. Okay, everybody look where Cody drew the red line. That's correct. And it is going to be a collector? A collector. Okay, just want to make sure that we specify that it is a collector. Everybody okay with that? Raise your hand if it's a yes. Wait.
I have a really quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
If I look at that map, right there, look at that map. And right there, what is that right there?
Venado Crossing entrance.
Where you, it's the, no, not there, right there, that's the entrance to, okay.
that's the
And so then, what's the green?
That's a collector they're responsible for putting in.
They got to extend that road.
Okay, so what we're doing is going from the entrance to, go back to the entrance, down. Well, that's what that looks like. Oh, you're gonna come over, you are gonna follow some of the purple.
Some of it, not all of it. This is also
Okay.
the reason to help with
Wait a
the
minute,
commercial.
wait. I just wanna make sure I have it in my head. So you're gonna come from that purple,
Yes, ma'am.
from the black, go over to the green, and you're gonna go down.
Yes.
Got it, I'm really good with that.
Okay.
I just had to get, because I couldn't see nothing.
So everybody has already raised their hand and said they are concurring. Okay. On to number, yeah, I know it was a little bit confusing. And the next one is number 16. I mean, okay. Everybody okay with 16? Show of hands. Mark, you good with 16? No? If you're not, then we'll have a nay. We'll show that as
No,
one
I
nay.
understand everybody's reasoning, and I'll accept it.
We
You'll
can-
live with it?
What she said is you can be seen as a nay, like you're not voting in favor of it if you would prefer that.
Yeah, I'd prefer that.
Ms. Simics, can the record show that
I'll abstain.
No, don't.
that guy, Mark Shoup, is not in favor of 16, but that the rest of the group was?
Is in favor.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. I mean, it needs to show. Somebody opposed it. Right. And so, and the next,
17 is, or 17 one we're talking about?
where is 17?
I don't even know if that's one we need to talk about.
Please make it not be.
I don't see it.
I think that was previously voted on and they took it off.
Okay.
What road are we on next?
So let's go to
Mr. Spencer?
18. 18 is Santa Clara Road. It has kind of that jug handle onto FM 78. So this was in our old MTP. I believe if I turn this around, you should probably see that same road here. Let me see. I stand corrected, actually not.
Jug handles are often used for commercial, so that they can have access for their trucks and two entrances and,
That's all ag though, right there, right? And 18.
it's not even in our city limits, is it?
Is it, that's, yeah.
Is it in our city limits?
No.
Looks like it's grayed out.
I mean, is that something that we proposed, or is that something the
Guadalupe County proposed.
Well, I mean, to take it to the tip, we might need it on our FTP.
It actually looks like it's inside the city limits. Maybe that's why, but we can't really. Can we put something on our future thoroughfare plan
I
that's
mean,
not in our city?
you would want to put it on your future thoroughfare plan to show the tip, the AAMPO, that you have it planned.
If we like it, yeah.
I mean,
Just a plan, just to have a plan out there?
usually they're done like that to encourage commercial development.
So that way commercial, that whole center right there would be commercial, and that would be their access point to get in and out.
Is everybody okay with 18 jug handle for commercial on the corner of Santa Clara and FM 78?
I don't see it happen, but sure.
I mean, we don't care. It's not an
If this is to help with the oh my gosh.
AAMPO.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing, I mean, I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it because it does give an opportunity for someone to exit that connector and then come down into our town that direction.
And we've been
So-
trying to encourage that Santa Clara development, that connector from 35 all the way through. So I'm okay with it staying there and that being the major cut through.
Do you have any reason why 18 was drawn on?
5 minutes.
Like who drew it there and why?
Probably less.
Like you're making us spend time on it, so what was the purpose of it? Do you know?
So that was one, and without putting words in their mouths, that the consultants were looking at, again, just to have some additional access. I believe the original proposed flume actually called that out as being a future commercial use, and so I believe that's a holdover from when that area was going to be planned or programmed for future commercial. Now that it's really looking at more of the rural residential or agricultural, and because so much of that is really going to be a county initiative, it may not make as much sense to leave on it. We would be fine, of course, with removing it now that the flume has kind of changed from what it was originally envisioned for
Our
that area.
recommendation would be to just keep it. Is that what our
Well, the only
recommendation
problem,
is?
I don't know why we have it, but, everybody keep in mind, if you look up Santa Clara Road, go the other way.
No, yeah, other way.
South,
Keep going.
south.
So if you look right there, stop. See that road going through there? All of that is being developed. That whole great big area is being developed out there.
But that's not our city.
No, but that collector that we're trying to plan for 18-wheelers and stuff like that, for a turnaround, this type of thing, is in the city. That's now going to be creating a congestive area.
Well, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it because it's not our purview. So we would never build a road there, correct?
You mean our jurisdiction?
All we would be able to do is to compel potentially like half of it on this property line within the city limits, but not the entire road.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yep.
So I would say that,
Yes.
so then I'm kind of like you, then we should probably just axe it. And the reason is because the development of that land could be impeded by this road that means nothing to us.
Okay,
So it could impede a person's property rights.
18.
It could impede a person's property rights to have something on the master thoroughfare plan that's not in reality?
Yes.
Can you explain that? I'm sorry, I don't follow.
Mr. Reed, can you please explain why it might be damaging to a person's property usage if we have a FTP on their property and they want to develop it into something?
Because the city would make you dedicate it? Is that what
Yes.
you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, but I can't imagine the city making you dedicate it if you're developing that land
If-
to
if-
not be used. Do you know what I mean?
If you were QT, you would be able to understand that, like, immediately.
Whether or not this would reduce a property value or make harmful development, I can't comment on that. I would tell you, it would give it frontage on all four sides. I could argue it may improve the value, but I am not here to say that. I'm here to say that that's outside of our ETJ, and the length of time you're debating on this,
Yeah.
value is minimal. What I will say is that our consultant worked very closely with Guadalupe County and the city of Schertz. This may have been born out of a conversation with Guadalupe County.
I would say if we are
Really,
not
It's
yeah, if we're
really a
not,
Guadalupe County issue, not ours, because this is another north-south connector.
Yeah, if we are not really privy to it, I'm not really willing to restrict somebody. I
So
mean, if
that's-
they want to come in and put in a road, let them, but
Yeah,
So, you know, in
So-
light of Mr. Reed's comment, let's just remove it and move on.
okay, I'm happy.
Right.
Is everybody okay with removing it?
Yep, boom. Go
All right.
ahead. All right, 19.
Malcolm? Okay.
Question is how good.
If there's anything in the future like that, if we could tell us that up front, like, not our purview, kind of not our beeswax.
But the grain made us know that, right? The grain, everything let us know that from
Well, we
when it
didn't-
first popped up.
well, I think that it might have been on there because
I see it. But
Yeah, okay, move it on. Yes.
Yeah, 19 on Lower Seguin Road, an extension, making it a major arterial.
Going from green to purple?
from Hagerville, oh no.
what are we doing here?
Where is it coming from?
Okay, can you please take the pointer, show them where the road is beginning and where it is ending, and whether it is going from green to purple? So it starts at 19, that number right there, and it goes. And that's all new?
So the change with this is instead of it being currently on our master thoroughfare plan, I believe it is a minor arterial. So what's being proposed is a major arterial.
Right here, it looks like it's green underneath it. Am I just seeing that? It looks like it's marked as a collector, an existing collector, and that it's got the blue or the black dashes, which say major arterial.
No, minor.
No, major. Black dashes is major arterial.
Existing, but the dotted line.
That's what we're proposing or planned.
Wait, okay, wait.
One moment,
Are
please.
those dashes? Yes. Okay, so dashes say plan, no?
Yes, major arterial plan.
Right, but up under, I don't recall if that's what you said or not.
Yes.
But up under that, I do see a green.
I do too.
Yes, so if I may on that, and we can of course try to find another way to represent this, is because the current status is, yes, there is a road that currently exists there that is a collector, so that's why you're seeing a green base layer of it, but what's being proposed is upgrading it, even from what the 2016, which was the minor arterial, to now it's being proposed is to make this a true major collector from, not a collector, a true major arterial from the east to the west side of the city. So that's where the black dashed lines come into play.
Thank you.
If anyone has suggestions on how to better show that, we will also take that just to try to remove any confusion in the future.
I think that it should stay the way that it was planned as the minor arterial. It should, if what you've said is it's not a collector currently, if it's currently on the last master thoroughfare plan as being a planned minor arterial, I think that that's what it should stay.
I don't see people driving east to west on this road that much. It's mainly going to be north to south, and then you get on this road for 0.5 seconds, and then go to another road. I agree.
I remember that the last master plan, the discussion with the transportation, I mean, we had railroad transportation, everybody out. They were talking about Lower Seguin coming off of 1604. That's why they wanted it to be an arterial, because of the traffic that they were connecting Lower Seguin from 1604 and out.
To relieve 78?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's, no,
That was the reason.
Yeah, so the definitions state that a minor arterial examples include Cibolo Valley Drive and Green Valley Road, which is what I see that portion of of Lower Seguin being. So that's why a major arterial the the amount of right-of-way is significantly more, 120 to 150 feet, versus a minor being only 86 feet, which 86 feet is much larger than it currently is on Lower Seguin, in my opinion. It's probably like 20.
So
A roadway is 20, but it's probably maybe 60 right-of-way, like off the sides.
Hang on
a
one
little.
second. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Did you? Oh, okay.
So I would still, I just wanted to give some further justification as to my suggestion.
You're saying that the minor arterial is like Cibolo Valley Drive, which is 86 feet?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's significantly larger than what is currently on Lower Seguin Road.
I agree.
Okay.
Yes, but because the current state is more like a collector. It's really a country road, the current state. But if we're planning for the future, I think that we should plan for it to be like a Cibolo Valley Drive or a Green Valley Road, instead of, what are some examples of the major? Yes.
Which I like, I mean, that's nice.
Okay.
11, so we don't want it to be an 1103 or 78,
Well,
the
Okay.
major arterials.
I
Okay.
guarantee you it's not gonna be driven like that.
Exactly. It's
So-
going to be like a Cibolo Valley Drive.
Yes.
It's going to be cut through, people getting to their homes, so on. Go ahead.
So really quick, are you guys talking about, they were looking at doing that with Lower Seguin Road from 1604, making it a major arterial off of 1604?
That's what, back then, but that's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen anymore, so let's keep it as a, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
So
agree
is
with that.
everybody in agreement that it would be like a Cibolo Valley Drive, a minor arterial?
Yeah, perfect, let's go.
Cool.
Everybody in favor, raise your hand. You're not in favor?
I just look even going to 86 off the, whatever the standard right-of-way, which is about 60, it's 50 to 60 feet on the standard right-of-way for the whole, all of Lower Seguin Road. So now I'm looking at the impacts of all the people in the properties that are out there, because if you take 15, 20 feet off of both sides or either side, now
Yeah.
you're picking people's houses that are
It
within
wouldn't
30, 40 feet
necessarily,
from the road.
yeah, it's not going to take their land away necessarily, but putting it on here does require future dedication when they sell.
That's the problem.
When they replat. And then after all of those are acquired, then the road can be widened and so on. So I totally get your concerns, and my in-laws live out here, I get it. And I agree, but I don't want it to be an 110378.
No, I
That's
don't-
my
it can't-
biggest
but-
thing.
Right, and so, in conjunction, which, 50 years from now, when none of us are here, well, hopefully not anyway. But when, 50 to 100 years from now, when all of that development is out there, they're going to need a bigger road that they currently have.
So please, Ms. Simmons,
Right.
please let the record reflect that Mark Shoup and Malcolm McLaughlin did not want that road to be expanded to a minor arterial. Is that correct, Malcolm?
All right. So what we're going to do for this one coming up, we're going to just look at 21 because we wanted to get you all's opinion. If you see how 21 goes all the way down to, what's that, I-10 frontage? How you all would feel if 21, so coming from Hakerville Road, swings further to the east to connect at Zoll Road, where you see that red circle near 29. And so instead of it going all the way down straight, if it swings further to the east to Zoll Road, where we have that I-10 intersection.
Yes.
So here's another point when we're talking about doing this and you're turning Hakerville into a major arterial, minor arterial, anything where you're going to increase this, you got a school that's planned to go in right there. And you start increasing traffic coming directly from the interstate, straight down that way, without like we did on this little minor thing on the side over here coming off of Main Street, making them stop, having to slow down or anything like that, it's going to become a speedway. And that's with stop signs or whatever, you're going to have people, I mean, It's just gonna happen, because it's gonna be a cut through. You have an accident on I-10, now it's gonna become a straight cut through to 78, and it's gonna be going right in front of a school.
I mean, 15, 18.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, Rose
We got
Garden,
two there.
they got a junior high and elementary, or 3 schools on 15, 18, but they put them set back pretty far back in that land.
Okay, so can you scroll down to where you want it? Okay, do you see that where you're trying to take it right now is on a property line, is that correct? Okay, and so you're trying to cut that parcel of land into 2 triangles to make that road go to touch Zool Road, is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, that one's better for me. Cody, you're young. Corey.
So the property line division that are between the 2 parcels of land, not on the, is there any way that you can follow along a property line? Because I am never going to be for you putting a future thoroughfare plan directly in the middle of somebody's property when you can do it along the property line, just for convenience.
That's also zoned something else, though. That's zoned compact residential.
Yeah? Yeah, I lived with that idea for a while.
So it's through compact residential. Can we just like stick it? That's what the zoning's for, or future land use is.
Right, and I'm with Mark on this one. If it backs up, it's gonna become a thoroughfare. So you've got to make it inconvenient for somebody to want to do that. And I wouldn't like it to actually link up with that road.
You don't want 21 to
don't.
match.
Yeah, I don't.
I agree. I understand the question.
I'm okay with it going down to 21. I'm not okay with it going down to the interchange.
I actually would prefer to just keep 20, the connection from Hakerville to Hakerville. But I understand the need for this 21, and I'm okay with it, but I don't like the idea of connecting it at the overpass.
Can you scroll up to where the school would be?
It's that blue.
I don't see it. Right there. And so just for me, for a point of reference, about how far is that from I-10?
It's probably about 5 miles, 10, maybe 10.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question is.
So let Ms. Walker speak, please. Hang on, guys.
So my next question is, will the children will they be zoned in that coming down 21? They won't be zoned to that
There's
school?
no way to know what the school district will do with the zoning.
My point is, it's only 3 miles away, so it could be.
It could be.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's why I'm asking. I just want to know. Thank you. I want to know that those type of answers to the questions.
What did he say? I couldn't hear.
Hang on, please.
He said that area is zoned to Marion.
Okay.
Okay. So there's no way that our kids would be going to that school up there. I'm just thinking
He's referring to the
I'm-
area on 10. I'm asking for clarification on what he said. Is he talking about the area on 10?
Let him
zoned?
tell you.
So this area along 10 that you're talking about, the residential, most of this, if not all, but a lot of this is actually the Marion School District
Okay.
that would be going. So it would be, I'm not putting words in the school district's mouths, but it isn't very likely that a lot of, if any, of these students would be traveling up here.
Okay,
to
thank you
this
for clarifying.
Shirt School District.
Yes, I am. Okay, but let's go down to 23. 23 and above would be Shirt Cibolo? The road that's 23. 23 and north would be Shirt Cibolo? Yes? Okay, and so my question is how those children are going to get to school there's no roads there for them.
No, you're going to take Acreville to 20,
Okay. You okay? I am not a roadmap aficionado, but it does appear that there is a logic to connecting 21 to that major intersection, that logic being having a traffic flow from I-10 back into the city of Cibolo. So I do not have any problem with them connecting 21 to that portion unless they are just driving directly through people's property, cutting it willy-nilly. Try to do it at a property line, please and thank you. Miss Eller.
Can we,
Hold on 1 second, please.
can we just look at taking I-10, that 21 up to, what's that road?
That's Bolton.
Bolton, and removing that part so that it doesn't go straight to I-10? They have to make a choice to connect to I-10 through 29?
Okay, so you don't want, what we're trying to get a straight north and south from I-10 into the city.
With less, yes, and also too, I think for the record, I think we were talking about Hagerville would have less connections to it. It'd be more just a, I wouldn't call it freeway, but free,
Yes.
where, you know, the small, yeah, exactly.
More
The
of an
smaller roads
arterial.
wouldn't connect into it going through, it'd just be a straight shot through.
So if you make that change to straighten it out, you could put it
On 29.
on between the two lines. Yes, ma'am. And then kind of just peel a corner off or what have you. Yes. You see what I'm saying? So that you're, because the power of the city to do that to somebody's property is real and the threat is egregious, okay? Let me just tell you, it will mess up your life, okay? And so when we make these decisions, I would like to see that brought back to us with clarification on whose property line and how we can swing it.
Or maybe not whose, but just that it is
Yes,
somebody's
that it's,
property line.
and that
You
it
don't need
is,
to know whose it is, but it
well, you know what I
belongs to
meant.
somebody.
Yes.
Redesign it based off of the property, the
Yes.
actual property line.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I would draw it, but make it be tentatively to reflect what the property records show. No,
Connecting my road all the way up to 35. Okay? We removed, there was a from Wild Road, we removed a connector road that where the curve is, and it was going all the way up to 35. And so prior to us removing that, since I seen that 10 years ago, that it was on the plan, on the county plan and on, through the city plan, it's caused me nothing but stress. I built my fences, I built my gates, I built everything I have in plans that I'm gonna have to tear it down because I'm gonna get eminent domain or someone's gonna come take my property. It does create, everything we do here on these roads creates a heck of a lot of stress on property owners that don't plan on selling their land. So we have to be careful. We have to be realistic instead of idealistic on these things. Because if not, you're causing a lot of worry and concern for property owners out there.
okay. So you'll deal with that, Miss Lee?
The other question on this is the classification. Right now, it's shown as a collector. Is the committee open to discussion on that being a minor arterial, like a Cibolo Valley Drive?
I am. I am open to it being minor collector because it's not a road that's there currently, correct? There's no existing road at all. This would be all new developer burden. And so if we put it on the thoroughfare plan and put the burden on the developer to put it in major arterial, thank you.
I have a question.
Can you
That
hang
goes
on?
along with this.
Yeah, let me finish this thought. So I think that if we have it in there, splitting the property lines correctly with great attention to detail to that, I'm not even close to kidding. And then we do it so that it, that was my fast talking part. And then we do it major, then, or say it.
Minor.
Thank you, minor arterial, and then we can commit a developer to it, or at least portions of it. All right, thank you.
My question is, if a developer comes in and we have a road identified on the future thoroughfare plan, and we have it identified as a minor arterial, and can they propose or request that they put in a collector instead, or do they have to follow the classification that we're giving it today? How does that work?
Mr. Reed is going to answer the question.
So the way it would work is that they dedicate the right-of-way, ultimate classified road, they would have to build to their pro rata share. So,
Okay.
right, you can't make a 10-acre lot, and let's say this was adjacent to a 10-acre lot, and then on the other side, it's a 200-acre lot. You can't make a 10-acre lot build one half of an arterial if it's only going to have 20 houses on it. Rough proportionality has been established by the court, so they have to dedicate the right-of-way. They would only build their portion of the road. Okay?
Okay. Thank you for explaining that.
You're welcome. And also, I would add that because it's on the MTP, whatever is on the MTP, we update our transportation impact fees. Those impact fees are based upon the lines y'all are drawing and what ultimately council approves. When we get all those lines on the map and the flume, then engineers follow state law to come up with transportation impact fees. A developer would be reimbursed or would not have to pay certain fees because he or she's already developing the road. So I wanted to throw that in. If they're oversizing the road, we would share impact fees with them because they're going above their roughly proportional impact.
Or they would have to pay an impact fee if they don't do the road.
That's correct. If we tell them don't build the road but dedicate it, yes.
So the other question I have, which this guy brought up, Shane. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm really struggling with names tonight. Shane. Thank you. So the point that Shane made is that at Zuhul Road, it's a massively bad flooding area. In fact, a woman died there. Yeah, about a decade ago, a little less than a decade ago. Just shy. I know. And a hail bells, big round bells floated onto I-10 right there at that interchange. And so my question is if we move it, like, because originally somebody drew this little line going down to 21. Was it to avoid the flooding? Was it to create another Zool? Was it to put a frontage road in so that we wouldn't have to close that exit or ramp down? Do you know?
Yeah, so when this was originally placed, like I said, a few months ago, so as the flume has been evolving, it was more like two portions. So 21, really to right here at Bolton was a component, and then from Bolton to the frontage road. And so it was kind of two ways to look at it. One was just having another access point between Bolton to the frontage road. But then if that was going to be placed, it made sense to then try to have another road running parallel-ish to Hakerville that would connect. So that's kind of how the origin story of that one came to be. Yes, and it does follow what's on our existing 2016 future land use, master thoroughfare plan.
Can you please demonstrate where the future fire plan? I mean,
I could see that 21 would help with getting fire to you know, that whole area that is yellow. And even the orange, because I mean, those are gonna be higher density. So I don't have too many holdups with 21. I still don't like the idea of connecting it to the 10 overpass. I feel like it's just gonna be a cut through, and I don't like that idea.
I don't either.
Don't like it either. No, I don't like it either. I mean, we have you know, you brought up 1518 was pre-existing. So it's something that it's already built, it's already the highway, you know, that was already been there, it's been there for years. So when they put the school district in, it's versus, we have an opportunity here to make sure we don't have a 1518 with 55, 60 mile an hour cars going in front of a school. That's just my opinion, so.
So the hash marks mean that it's out of our city limits, correct?
Yes, so this sort of hash that you see right here, that's currently within the Cibolo ETJ.
Okay.
Also, too, we're making this a collector, not a minor artillery.
True, but it
Artillery. And I just get people's names wrong, okay?
So, it's been a long day.
All right.
Material.
So I don't think we have consensus, because I would like to see 21 attached to Zool and be a minor arterial road. But I don't think we have consensus that would be good.
no, you'd have to
So,
split a lot of properties.
yeah, but I mean, all of those properties that are yellow in that area, they're ETJ. Like, a lot of those big parcels are ETJ.
And they're currently farmland.
But I have a question.
Hang on one second. So they are currently farmland, but they are in the ETJ. And one of the only things that we're going to be able to regulate is that road. And to have cohesive transportation from the north to the south in that general area, it would behoove us to put a north-south so that all that traffic from the ETJ didn't just flow onto Hagerville Road. Mr. Reed, hold on one second.
Thanks.
Did you want to
Yeah,
ask?
my question is, why would we need two arterials next to each other? Because Hagerville is already, the lower part of Hagerville is already a minor arterial. So why wouldn't it be a collector? I mean, it's green. It's green dashed, which says collector planned. So I don't think we.
Because
I
it's
don't know
coming
how we
from
got-
I-10. That would be my justification, and Hagerville is not.
Okay.
I mean, Hagerville is
I'm not
as
in
well.
favor of it being an arterial. I'm in favor of it staying a collector, and also, like I've already said, not an arterial, and not connected to 10. That's where I stand.
That's where I stand.
No, hold on one second. Mr. Reed would like to add something. Mr. Reed would like to add something. Go ahead.
One, Hagerville is shown as an arterial here because your existing MTP shows it to be. Again, it leads to no interchange at I-10 though.
Right.
You're changing the flume so that it's a state between Hagerville Road and the creek.
So change it to the collector.
Saying you're lowering densities. So just because it's an arterial today, now that you're clarifying the flume, should it stay one? That's one that you could answer. Secondly,
Yeah, I think
the north-south connector that goes over the railroad, over 78, touches Hagerville Road, north of Lower Seguin. As it goes south of Lower Seguin Road, so go back down and show I-10. The idea of that north-south connector connecting with Zool, it would also line up with where the city would hook north off of Bolton Road with a major wastewater interceptor. So the properties we're bisecting, if that's where the road lines up, the property owners, when they want to sell their land to somebody who wants to subdivide it, they would both have a minor arterial that cuts through it, if that's what you classify it, with a sewer connection. So that's the plan of where we would likely put the sewer, is where the road goes.
So
Major intersection.
What that also equates to is further public use, which can be used for eminent domain. So I'm just gonna mention that if we put it on there and the plan is to put sewer along it, that gives two, a thoroughfare, planned road, and public use and necessity, which allows an eminent domain to be used. I'm just gonna mention that.
I have a suggestion. I think, you know, in light of what Mr. Reed said, and we really considered doing this as estate residential to the
downgrade.
west, right, of Heckerville Road. We switch Heckerville Road from a minor arterial, not artillery, all right, to a collector. And then you could possibly get rid of 20 and then continue Hackerville Road through 21, shift it to the left and connect it down to, what do you call that, Zorks Road and 29?
I would be
Zool-
more inclined for that, because you're not gonna have two arterials
Yeah.
paralleling so close.
And I think that obviously would acquiesce on both sides here. You don't have two major or minor arterial, and you switch Hackerville Road back to a collector, and then you do this 21 as a minor arterial.
And
And
Kelsey,
it
you guys,
connects to the 29.
you guys said that we could, Mr. Reed and Kelsey said that can happen, right? We can change it? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So
that
is everybody in favor right now of downgrading Hagerville Road to a collector street? Do we have consent? Downgrading Hagerville Road from,
So mine's contingent on the
yes.
second vote, so just to
23 is the one
mention.
that goes, hold on one, okay,
Okay, so 20.
stop, wait, let's just wait. Miss Her, I'm sorry.
So 20.
20,
21.
We're just talking
Oh,
about the
sorry.
existing Hackerville Road.
So what number is it?
It doesn't have it.
Oh, okay. It's 14. Okay, yeah. 14 down. Yeah.
okay. So for clarity, we're changing Hagerville Road, which doesn't have a number and wasn't even on our FTP plan. We're changing it from a minor arterial to a collector. All in favor?
My vote is contingent on the next vote.
Okay, so so Ashley has abstained,
Okay. that
and
works.
yes,
So we
Shoops is
abstained.
abstained? Okay. So they've abstained because they don't feel like they have enough information. They need to go to the next road process. Okay. So please reiterate what you had said about what you wanted 21 to do. Road 21, yes.
That was my suggestion.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So this is what I would suggest. 21 would continue from the north part of Hackerville Road, north of Seguin Road, continue down like it is, you know, rough estimates. And then, as we would say, would shift to the east a little bit, split those two properties as much as we can, right? And then curve around there with those small little squares, whatever the best we can, and then tie in where Zorg, is that what it's? Zool. All right, Zool, sort of like Ghostbusters.
I like
All right,
Zorg better.
Zool. So where, and have it connect past Bolton into Zool, into 29, and so that would be our connection. That would be our north-south connection all the way up.
Use that property line all the way to there and then swing it over.
Yeah, that makes sense, right here.
The idea of using property line.
Yeah, makes sense.
Can I see that and I'll try to replicate it
Sure.
up here?
Because we need a north-south. We need a north-south
And
that's
what did
minor.
you say, that was a minor arterial?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
No more than a minor arterial.
This top portion can stay the same.
You know we boom in the Army?
Comes down to here. Oh, it doesn't swing over. It swings right after this. It'll swing over to connect to this property line. Down and then
Somehow.
trying to hit those corners.
So we're just straight down.
Yeah.
So if we approve this, there will need to be in a blown out, like contingency for it to be brought back for how it snakes through that. Okay,
Or just say Marcus put it on there and blame him.
okay. Okay. So,
Yes, and then I would, well, I guess let's agree on that, and then I got a suggestion on 14. Well, we maybe want to go back to 14, but, okay.
Let's stay on 21 and let's
21.
get clarity for 21. Okay.
I like that.
Everybody, let's, so,
And then 14, stay with Hagerville as a minor, as a collector.
Do you still want to connect this here?
No, get rid of 20. Get rid of 20.
Malcolm, Mattingly, Marcus.
Just call me Eminem, man. Just call me Eminem. All right.
Marcus has drawn out and made that proposal and an arterial. So all in favor
Yes,
of
we will.
Marcus's drawing and of the minor arterial,
For
please,
21.
for 21. If anybody has any questions, did you see it? What he drew? Everybody saw it?
It's a minor arterial, no.
Minor arterial.
We're switching Hectorville Road to a collector.
We've already done that.
It's going to be a collector.
Okay.
So just with the understanding that I'm looking at the current map, and it looks like property lines are not necessarily conducive to doing that. So somebody's gonna, so if there's an issue with, you know, eminent domain or anything like that, that's going to take effect in this particular area.
So the
Several
hash-
properties.
The hash mark properties, they cannot eminent domain. They don't have the authority to eminent domain those hash
Well,
mark properties.
if we put a road on the thoroughfare plan and then they're planning to put sewer there, that gives them the right to use eminent domain. It shows need and, a public need and necessity.
Yes, I'm fighting that right now, San Marcos.
Mr. Reed, can you show me where the sewer line is gonna go?
It's gonna follow the
Trying to
road.
draw the road so you can, everyone knows that, what they're voting on.
Okay, thank you.
That's pretty good. That was really good. That's
but
not
it
easy
kinda-
to do on there.
But,
I
but,
know, but it kind of more,
but also,
right there, it kind of goes more over.
but just to let you know, also just majority of these dotted lines are going through properties already. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's, I
Mis-
get it. I'm not the property owner there, but that's just, that's the fact
Mr.
of the
Reed,
world.
where's the, where's the,
When we're gonna do this, let's be realistic about idealistic.
Yeah, sure.
So, if we're gonna do this, let's do it, let's be realistic about it. Don't cause people stress, it's already going through them lines, so you're right. So they're already gonna have to keep it, whether we keep it or the council decides to keep it, you know, whatever you get. But anything that we don't need that's gonna cause additional stress on the property owners that have no plan to sell the property and
Yeah.
have a roadway go through it, it's gonna be, we've got another toll road basically situation.
mic him up.
Stress.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
No, that's your mic.
Okay,
Wait.
all right, hang on one second, everybody, please give your attention to Mr. Reed.
So, to be clear, the alignment of the sewer lines has not been determined. However, as we shared at the January 30th meeting, there's a map of the 5 major projects. The first project in this region, south of Lower Seguin, is to go from the CCMA Southern Plant, which is on the west side of Cibolo Creek, right about, up a little, right about there. And go across the creek, get to Hakerville Road, go down to Bolton Road. Project number 1, that's project number 1 and 2, okay? Then along Bolton Road towards
The fire station.
right there, But once we get to some point between where the dot is and back to Hakerville Road, is to go north, like we just drew a road, because that whole area will drain towards that line right there. So as you go west, the line would have to be deeper because the land is sloping down. But as you go to the east side of that proposed alignment, that land would flow west into that roadway where the sewer line may go. So I'm just emphasizing, we will go out for design services. They will come back and tell us where to put that sewer line. But where you draw a major arterial, often you put the sewer for a drainage area.
We said minor arterial.
Minor arterial, I'm sorry.
That's mine.
Which makes sense. That makes sense.
And then you can do that.
Yeah. Thank you, Kelsey. Miss Kelsey's gonna clean that up just a little bit.
Because otherwise it'll bother her.
Yes, it will.
Or you can just say no.
I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
We're going,
I'm very conflicted with this one.
Just move along existing estate lots that aren't going to.
And I totally understand this, but when it comes to fire,
Yeah.
EMS, police, because, you know,
Yeah.
there's gonna be a training center there at that,
I would have gone straight.
at that Station
Yeah,
4.
I would've gone
And
Yeah.
it's gonna be a big thing for the surrounding areas, so.
I would have.
Yeah, I am on board with the road not connecting to I-10. With the new route that, that Mr. Mattingly?
He's mad.
Yeah, suggested. I like the route, I just don't like it connecting to I-10. So I would like it to stay where it's dashed today or something of that sort. I just don't like it connected to 10. That's where I'm conflicted. And if we move forward with a vote, I will vote no because I don't like it connected to 10. I do like the idea of having a minor arterial there for connection for public services, fire, and all of that stuff. I'm fine with the road. I just feel like I should state that because it feels like we're headed in this direction. So.
All right. Now we have the drawing of what Mr. Mattingly had proposed and a minor arterial, and we have more information. All in favor of the proposed amended route for 21 connecting into 29? Raise your hand. Let the record show Carol Herr, Carol Latimer, Claudia Walker, Marcus Mattingly, and Cody Hicks all voted for it. And do you need the denials? No, 5.
It's 5-5.
Mhm.
I guess we have this.
So should we discuss what those that voted against it?
Go ahead.
So I was just going to say, if those that voted against it or did not vote in favor, would you be in favor of it if it didn't connect to 10?
My only thing
Yes.
is.
Hang on one second, we're going to address the nays.
The question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you and I voted yes.
So we all said yes, we would vote if it didn't connect to 10. So that leaves the two of you.
Okay, so
Well, you voted in favor, right?
Yeah, so hang on.
I got a question. It's gonna tee off there, but there's more than likely gonna be a light there, right?
Yeah. I
So it's
understand.
gonna be, it's not gonna be like they're hauling
Yeah.
hauling, unrestricted.
Correct. That's not my
Right.
concern. It's just that the people will use it as a cut through if you can get off of it. You can get onto it right off of 10.
Well, they use everything else as a cutoff too.
Well, yeah, but it's a little harder for them.
I mean,
Hang on one second. Ms. Simics, did you get that Ms. Zimmerman, Ms. Ellard, and Shane
We didn't get an answer from,
agreed to the new location of 21 as long as it did not tee into Zool Road? And Malcolm and Mark are still opposed,
I'm
correct?
assuming, because they haven't said anything.
You're gonna do it, you use 20 and you take out all the 21,
Okay, so no 21 at all for you. Okay. So it doesn't sound like we could
Hang on one
change-
second, Ms. Zimmerman.
So I have a question. So if we have an off-ramp there, how is it going to connect to anything if we take out if we don't connect it to?
You'd have to go on the frontage road to go to the next exit. Or you'd have to get off early or however that would work.
No, but if you're getting off, where are you going? If you don't connect it?
There's lots of other roads around there.
Yes, but but the whole point, you need to have a unrestricted access to get off into Cibolo. You don't want to exit Zool Road and then drive a half a mile on the feeder and then take another right onto 21, for instance. I mean, you would ideally want, say it again?
yes, it is what we do now, yes, but.
It's what we do now, but I mean, we're talking about making this more efficient,
Yeah.
right?
And
We
isn't
don't want to
the-
make it less
And
efficient.
isn't the fire station going to need more of a direct road to cross the freeway to get to the other side?
Well,
They'll have that.
they'll have that.
They'll have that.
But what I'm looking at is it's gonna be easier for the fire department to go straight from there all the way down 21 instead of, I mean, I guess you could keep on going down till Hakerville, but
Well, I mean, the fire department could just go up Stulty. They're right there at Stulty if they, but I'm not opposed to 21. I just don't like it connected. But it sounds like even with the discussion of not connecting it to 10, there's not enough people to sway the vote. So that was why I asked the question.
So my hangup is cutting off the properties. My biggest thing would be cutting off the properties. I mean, I understand the concern and the need, but there has to be a way to be able to do it with the least amount of eminent domain or any possible avenue of that.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, just make it go straight up and tee off at Lower Seguin Road, you know, as long as you have the property line to do it. I'm not a fan of taking somebody's property.
taking, I mean, what do you mean? We're still gonna cut through 1 or 2.
Having said that, though, then your position would be to maintain Hackerville Road as the minor arterial, right?
Yeah.
And so, because, I mean, that's your stance, but again, you voted, though, to make that collector because it makes sense considering that we made all that area a state residential, right? Okay, and then we need to have Cibolo, right now, the only thing I see is Santa Clara, which really is outside of most of it's in Guadalupe County. And then we're gonna have this 21 and this north to south connector. I mean, that's the only 2 connections that I see that are actually gonna go to the main connections on I-10.
You know what also comes?
Where's Stolton?
It's gonna be, you're gonna have to come down.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, you still have that one, but I mean,
okay,
so
but.
do we need to increase that road? Do we need to make that bigger then? Because, I mean, that's,
Because that one's already there. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to increasing that one, but the problem is you still don't have your minor arterial that, I guess, that they want.
So that's a good proposal, because Stulty it dead ends almost right into where the fire station's gonna be going. Yeah. And if you change the density, I guess is the right word, of that road, of Stulty, that would solve a lot of issues of connections there. I mean, they can still use Stulty, I just don't think it's in the best shape for like a fire truck every day.
Okay, and did you say that ETJ was the square?
yes.
Yes, these hash properties.
So that's not really out of.
So,
The roadway's in the,
That was loud.
is the roadway city?
Is Stolte?
Is Stulty city limits? Like the actual roadway, the right-of-way?
Okay.
No? Okay.
I mean, I would just like to point this out. I would just like to make one point. Not that I think that I have any SME certification or anything like that, but my years of sitting on planning and zoning and looking at this map, what percentage of it is in the ETJ, and what percentage of it is going to be serviced by a new sewer line, okay, or a proposed sewer access now. This area is going to be snatched up by a developer and it's going to be developed, and right now we have it as SF4 development. And majority of that is going to be in the ETJ and tie into our sewer, is that correct? Because you just got control of that CCN, or allegedly.
So I can't predict the future accurately, but what I would tell you as a sewer provider, if the CCN is transferred, right, we're still working on final settlement agreement. That's going along well. When that 3,200 acres is transferred to the city in the near future, as a condition of service, the city will tell developers, you shall annex.
Okay.
They
So
condition.
You shall annex.
It's a condition of service.
Okay. So the other portion that I would like to bring up about that is that you're going to have a lot of development and you are going to not have put a major road requirement in the developer's obligation, okay? And so while I understand what you're talking about with eminent domain,
I want to make it very clear that the council can choose not to eminent domain people. And so while we have to do the hard work of finding solutions, and I know how hard this can suck, you're not speaking to somebody who is ignorant of the impact on the individual landowners. But I do think it is important to say, okay, I think this looks like it's dangerous if we don't do something north-south and if we don't tie it into I-10. We're going to miss an opportunity to create for our citizens and for the traffic flow within our city a north-south option. I would hope, although I do not have much faith, that our councils would not go half-cocked off into eminent domaining these people's land, but that does not alleviate our obligation to try to make reasonable north-south decisions. And this, to me, is much better than Hagerville or Stolte.
But correct me if I'm wrong, with eminent domain, the city still has to offer a reasonable price. There's processes before you can declare eminent domain. You can't just be like, boom, plant your flag and say this is mine. The city's going to have to propose, obviously offer a fair, reasonable price. And if they can't negotiate in fair dealings, then you can go and take it. But again,
But
Right.
let me be very clear. This city lied to the landowners, denied us access to information that I felt we should have been available to. They were god-awful to us, name-calling, harassed us, sent police to our homes. When I tell you that the city of Cibolo was egregiously disgusting to my family and to the people in the path of the toll road, and Mark can testify, there were tears, there was fear. I feared for my life. I was threatened. I cannot overemphasize the nightmare the bureaucracy of the city of Cibolo is. It is a nightmare. It is a horror for the human beings in their path. So I understand that. I'm not joking about that, and I'm speaking very candidly and from the heart. That does not alleviate my responsibility here tonight to try to find a pathway for what I perceive as one of the largest problems we are going to have is that corner right there, because it's bright yellow. It's going to be great, except for those patches of where they are going to be able to come in and put whatever they want, because we cannot zone in those pash marks. They can put apartment complex upon apartment complex upon apartment complex. They can put any kind of business they want. If somebody wants to come in and build the business that we ran out of our city, they could put it right there. So the only obligation that we have is to try to get the traffic flow from I-10 back up into the city for the folks that live in city and work either in Seguin or San Antonio. So I get it.
I feel it's important to mention that some of us that voted against or that didn't vote in favor of this new alignment are not saying that we don't want a road and that we're in favor of having a road. I think the question to city staff is, how do we move forward since we're divided? Since we can't come to a consensus, how do we move forward on this item?
If this is the only road where there's a split vote, then I think the MPAC could recommend the MTP and then identify road 21 as one that it is split on. And that is part of your recommendation. Let the P&Z deliberate. It will take your recommendation.
Let's do that and move on.
And make a recommendation to council.
Only got 10 minutes.
Council ultimately will make the decision, right?
Yeah, happy times.
I agree. It's a great
Thank
idea.
you.
I mean, the city just needs to go buy another piece of land right there next to it where they want to put the fire station. I mean, if you can go take everybody else's land, why not use your own land if you want to have that road go all the way out to I-10?
Yep, so that was
22.
We didn't really talk 21. Do we need to make a recommendation on 20? Because, sorry, I said 21, I meant 20. Because we kind of skipped over 20 to get to 21's discussion. Do we need to make a recommendation? I don't think that it's necessary. I'll just throw that out there.
I would like to remove 20, to be totally honest.
Yes, with the
we
understanding
take
21's
hands
gonna
on
I
that?
agree. I don't see the need for 20. If we're even split on, if you're even putting 21 in,
Yes.
you know, there's no reason to have 20 there.
All right, all in favor of removing 20, raise your hand.
Consensus.
It was a consensus.
And then I would just like to go back to 14, where we said that we just want to bring it straight down. Now I would suggest actually connect it to Hakerville Road as a collector, because both of those roads would be collectors and like-kind roads.
And soften that turn there?
Yes.
Because that was the biggest concern there.
That would be my suggestion, or you can still break it up if you want to.
With the way we have
I
it.
still like it broke.
Okay, just
Yeah,
suggestion.
no, yeah, cool.
Go ahead.
No, 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 I mean, we keep it broke.
Okay.
What do you got?
22?
Go ahead, Cody.
Is that
Okay.
next?
Keep broke. I'm cool with that.
Keep broke.
Keep broke.
What do you think, Mike?
Consensus is broke, move on, correct? Okay. Which means the way we had it.
Maybe in 10 years, maybe, I mean, because there's no development yet.
All right, now where are we? Dos. 22.
So just as a reminder, the numbered streets that are in green did get consensus at the joint meeting. So you, as like you have before, you can always change it.
There wasn't consensus, because I wasn't even here to vote. I left non-consensus in the.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, like I was saying, y'all can always change that. You can make a recommendation to change this road, but that's the reason why they're in green. But just want to put that in y'all's minds just going forward.
All right, Mark, what is the issue with 22?
I have a question about 22 for staff maybe, or somebody that can pull up another
Well,
math.
let's go ahead and because he had started out that he.
Oh,
does-
his
doesn't-
mic's off, so I didn't know.
Oh, I didn't see.
Yeah, if you,
I'm trying to figure out, again, if we're talking about these dual next to each other, we have Stolte, why do we need 22? Or 22 cuts across, excuse me. So I'm okay with that, except for where it runs over to 24, so.
24?
So you do not have a problem with
okay.
22?
Is 22 existing? Is that Lower Valley? No, I see it, that it's planned as a collector. I'm asking if it's a private road, Lower Valley. There's a street that goes across there, and it has some houses down on the end. It's called Lower Valley. I'm asking if that's where it is.
Is the beginning of Lower Valley
It connects, Lower Valley comes off of Hakerville. Yes, it's all large lots. I got my map out now, because nobody knew.
Valley something? Is that what Lower Valley?
I think it's called Lower Valley. Valley View? Maybe that's it. Valley View? Maybe I had the road wrong. Yeah, I think that's it, right? Valley View?
Right here. Do you like 24?
It doesn't currently. That's what I'm trying to get. Is this an existing road that we're extending to make a collector? I'm just trying to grasp all of the.
It's not
Collector.
Into Fine Still?
Yeah. Yes. To
No,
Stolte,
it's not road.
right?
It's Fine Stall, right?
22 goes into Fonstiel, where Fonstiel. Yeah, it looks like Fonstiel would connect. Is that what 24 is?
Service roads and connect these things.
Yeah, but this is all green space.
Yeah, for now.
No, but that's what the plan is. The state, no, this is.
Yeah.
Is that what
you're right.
24 is? Is Fonstiel connecting all the way to Bolton?
I mean, I guess maybe.
That's 24.
24 is Fonstiel connecting. Okay.
You can get rid of 24. Yeah, you could.
No, it's an extension of Fine Still.
Yes.
We need
majors.
It's hard to tell. Oh, okay.
this whole thing.
Okay. I would suggest we move it down.
22 goes this
go this way.
But that's when they sell it.
Because, I mean, it's an existing road. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
So
okay
Kelsey
with
was able to answer my question. It is not the existing road. It's like one property above where the Valley View is. So my suggestion for 22 would be to lower it, to take Valley View and connect it all the way across. And it looks like on the parcel map that she showed that you can actually go between the properties over to where we're connecting on 22, or whatever, that's 24.
Stolte.
That would be my recommendation. Go through Stolte and it connects over to where what's going to be 24
You
down.
want 24? Is there a reason for 24?
24 just allows more connectivity north and south.
You got Stolte right
Okay.
now.
Back
Yeah.
up. Hang on. Let's stick on 22. 22 is going to be dropping down
That's cool.
to the existing road. And the existing road has one small patch in the ETJ, and then it attaches to, or it would connect to Stolte Road at that point. Is that correct? Ashley, that is what, okay. So everybody looking at 22, we would drop it down to an existing road. We would run it through that portion of the ETJ, and it would connect to Stolte Road. Is anybody, who's in favor of that? Mark? Okay.
Moving 22.
Okay, listen, I'm going to go through it one more time.
I got it. We got it.
Okay, okay.
Raise your hand, Mike.
Yeah, I think we have to end at Stolte because that's
With a K?
ETJ there, right?
Yes.
Yes. No, there's Stolte has a portion of it that's ours.
Hey, Carrie, we got 5 minutes.
Okay.
5 minutes.
Okay, we're going to wrap up. Okay.
Just remove 24. Yeah, just remove 24. Yeah?
Yes, we have, Ms. Simics, we have consensus on the new location of Stolte. Of Road 20, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, then this is,
Propose it.
where did we leave off? What number was
Don't
that?
forget, but don't, no.
No, I mean on the H.
But we were currently doing 7E.
Thank you. So we're going to table F, no, I don't have to table it. We're just going to do at the next meeting. F, G, H, and I, which is the discussion action regarding approval for the master plan MTP, the comprehensive plan and I-10 plan, and the approval of the implementation actions discussions on next steps. And so now we'll move on to 8, discussion on date and time of future meetings.
Madam Chair, could I just elaborate on letter I, just to let the committee know what the next steps are going to be based on tonight's actions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll be very fast, so I'll make sure we'll get here by 9:30. But just so you know, since you were able to take action on a few of those items, we will go ahead and present those on a little bit of a listening tour to the P&Z and EDC, again, per your direction, just on those comprehensive plan elements. What we would like to do is I will work with the city secretary on proposing some dates for another master plan committee, maybe towards the end of this month, so that way we can go ahead and finalize those remaining roads and also the action items. Thank you.
Okay. We will need a future, Ms. Simics, do you have any future dates? Okay, Ms. Simics will email us any future dates. And then now we have,
Do we have to go to that? Should we be going to that open house on Thursday?
So we will be having an open house this Thursday at City Hall from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It is a come and go event, another opportunity for our community members to come out. We will have boards up showing the guiding principles, the vision statement that's been recommended, the place types. We will also still have the master thoroughfare plan and action items, but still with draft and everything, we'll highlight what has already been discussed by this committee and what is still be determined at a future meeting. We would certainly love it if you have time to come, even just for a little bit, if you want to come by and see, talk with the residents, we definitely would love to have you there. It's not mandatory, but it's your plan, and we'd love to hear you to share your experience on it. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder, Ms. Ray.
Thank you, Ms. Simics. Do you need anything else? Are we ready to make a motion to adjourn?
Do we know dates for next meeting?
No, she will
Okay,
email
I'm
us.
sorry, I missed that. I apologize. Thank you.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Yes, you may.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.